just smoked another to the face, yeah. She wanna stay. Singing to your bitch like I was Drake, yeah.
Don't just try to tell me you love me. Can't keep it real if you really don't trust me. Come with a real, you here up in the front, so you get my meals. I'm gunning for the money in the bank. Coming with a dank, scrolling in the tank, rolling with the gang. You sitting out on the sideline tripping, I go to the hole with the rock like Pippin.
Yeah. I'm okay.
What up, though? Welcome to Chris's last show as our technical. What up, though? Welcome back. Or welcome to World Heavyweights. You've never been here before.
Welcome.
I'm Eazy.
Welcome you.
Spitmo Rax, Young Chris,
Yes,
Uncle
sir.
Nick. Smash that like button. Be a friend. Tell a friend. Share the stream.
Tigers news.
Smash the like button.
Got a lot of numbers there. Gonna confuse Easy. We're gonna get into that in the first segment.
Why? What do you mean?
Because I'm talking OPS, on base
OPS
plus
is.
slugging. Oh yeah, OBP, OPS, slugging.
Get down with OPB.
Yeah, you know me.
The guy's actually got a nice career.
Who, Gio? Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, he's very good.
It's just injury prone, it looks like.
I wouldn't say injury prone. He just got injured last year.
Hurt his pelvis. Says pretty injury prone. I'm playing. What was the argument that Noah and, Owen and Ryan used to always have?
I don't know.
Didn't like Owen try to say like he hurt himself in the golf cart or some shit?
Yeah, I don't remember. Oh, no, he hurt himself driving. I don't remember. That was Austin Meadows. He was injury prone.
Either way.
But he's not from the Rays, so we don't got to worry about it. This is a good signing. This is a good pickup. Gio Urshela, we're going to talk about that.
We're going to talk about it. Chris.
Yes, sir.
Actually, this is not just a Chris thing. This is everybody thing. Joy
Yes,
Taylor
sir.
and Taylor Rooks have combined forces
What do you mean?
to start a brand new podcast. Check this out. Check out the promo piece, too, by the way. Look at that. Joy Taylor and Taylor Rooks are partnering to create a new podcast per complex. The podcast will be released every Wednesday and promises to feature a wide variety of high-profile special guests. It's a wrap. The tweets are like following or
Why can't I be a bad
response to this.
bitch, man?
What do you say?
Why couldn't I have been born a bad bitch, man?
Yeah, they are. That's a duo.
That's a
They
duo.
have no problem with
That
these
is-
guys.
That is a duo.
Let me actually find my phone because some of the response to that tweet was some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. There's one. It's like Michael Jordan crying at the award ceremony.
Yeah.
And it's like when the yams touching the muffins or something like that.
Dude, those are, yeah. And, like, they know ball. They both know ball, too, so
Yeah.
definitely going to tune into that one.
I was dying. One of the replies in there too was the one with Jaylen Brown talking about winning 5 rings.
Dude.
He's like licking his lips, like
Yeah.
rubbing his knees, like.
Man,
he'll
just
be
always
5.
looks so pissed when he's walking around.
He's from New York. That's how they got to be. All the yams touching the macaroni.
walking
because
here.
they're kind of like. That's a good shot.
That is a good shot.
I'm definitely gonna tap into that one. What's the other one? I should have sent this one to Chris. It's Will Chamberlain's stat lineup. It's 53 points, 32 rebounds, 14 assists, 24 blocks, 11 steals. It says players lineup after doing the podcast.
Facts.
This is how it is.
Yeah.
And they're smart.
It's like Jordan Poole anytime he sees baddies in the front row.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like the players after those podcasts, when we put up numbers.
Yeah.
Update. No bad bitches in Washington.
Yeah, no baddies in Washington because Jordan Poole sucks. Oh, man. Brady. Hey, Brady. Jordan Poole sucks. Guess who was right?
Yeah. He's
Brady
terrible.
was so mad when I was saying, I was like, Jordan Poole sucks. No,
Well, Brady's in Michigan.
dude's trash.
Yeah, don't tell Houston that. And it goes! One of the biggest shots in NCAA. That was a crazy shot to beat
One of the
Houston.
biggest shots in NCAA.
Yeah, history.
No.
Yeah, it was a sick half-court buzzer beater almost.
It wasn't a half-court
It was
buzzer
in
beater.
between half court
It was
and
like
3.
30 feet.
Perfect
It was
play
not in
drawn
between.
up.
He was
I
like
was
2
up at
steps
state
from the
visiting
three-point
my
line.
brother, Michigan fan, one of 2 in the party, like 60 other state people. We rip off our shirts. We're going crazy. They're all
Hey,
giving
yo,
us shit
hey, yo.
all day. It was a blast.
It was a
One
great
I'll always
shot.
remember.
Great shot. Big shot.
And I was
but
up at East Lansing
not
for
one
it,
of the
visiting
best
my
shots
brother.
in NCAA. That's
Thank you for
That's
stopping
throating.
that. Thank you for killing that right away.
yeah. It was a great shot. It was a great buzzer beater, but that's going a little too far.
I'll say top 15
Of all time in NCAA history?
in tournament. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it was a big
you should
moment in my
follow
life.
that.
It was a
Top 10,
big
easy.
moment in
It
my
was a
life.
great shot. Trey Burke's shot, I think, is better. When he hit that
for
three-pointer over
Yeah.
3 Kansas defenders with like 2 seconds left.
Those were 2 just massive, like, Michigan moments.
Yeah.
So it's hard to
That was a great shot.
convert it to.
Trey Burke just pulled up from like
Yeah.
35 and faced 3 Kansas defenders. Trey Burke was a
Trey
dog.
Burke was
college,
awesome.
dude. He was a dog.
was.
Hell of a round.
Yeah.
Brothers with you, so one of the best in NCAA history.
No, man, it's one of the best
In
in
Michigan.
NCAA history on a Tuesday.
Yeah, one of the best.
NCAA.
It's one of the best in NCAA history for Michigan. Like, it's. Come on, guys.
No,
Shit like
it's a
that
stretch.
happens 5 times a year, every single year in the NCAA tournament. Like, that's ridiculous. There are much better full court shots, literally half court shots, stuff like that goes down. And then on top of, I don't know, championship winning shots, like old
Michael
dude
Jordan?
from Villanova.
Yeah, the Villanova one was sick.
Marcus Page right before that.
Yeah.
That is a better shot than
Both of them are. Yeah, I'm not saying they're not.
Yeah, I'd like pump
it's
the
up
brakes
there.
a little
It's
bit.
up there.
It's one of the best shots in Michigan history.
Maybe the last 10 years, I'll say.
Probably
There we
not.
go.
No, like I said, that shit happens in the tournament every round. There's at least one of them.
All right, so
It was a great shot. It was a great shot, but that's going a little too
This is
far.
from Fox, the ranking. It's actually not 1 through 10s, but these are just, I guess, there's names some of the best shots, game-winning shots in NCAA history. It's not on there.
Yeah.
Damn.
They got Villanova, North Carolina, 2016.
That's
Northern Iowa versus Texas, 2016.
Yep.
Ole Miss, 1998.
Don't remember that one.
Duke versus Kentucky, 1992.
Nope. Oh, that's Christian Leitner. Yeah.
Yeah.
UConn versus Clemson
That's the
in
first one I thought
1990. North Carolina State versus Houston. But this one, I don't know how to count.
Grant Hill to
It's not
Christian
much.
Leitner.
That's the first one I thought
It wasn't
of.
Grant Hill. Was it Grant Hill?
I don't think it
Whoever
was.
threw the inbound to
Yeah.
Christian Leitner, though, and he hit the fucking
Dude.
Can you do that move
the
again?
Hakeem fadeaway from the free throw line. Yeah.
You look like me after I fucking finished 2 helpings and some dessert.
Like Dylan Brooks coming out the tunnel.
What's this Cade Cunningham Carlitos way?
Oh my goodness. So we did a segment last year. Not a segment, but like one of these opening
Oh,
ones.
the dolls?
Yeah, the doll.
Yeah,
They
where he
made
looked
Cade
like
Cunningham Asian
he
or,
looked like Goku, yeah.
Yeah, made him look like Goku or freaking like a Spaniard or something.
Yeah.
Well,
Cade Cunningham on Telemundo.
Okay. With the,
I
the
literally
finish.
just watched that.
But
dude.
hey, so
Oh, dog, what is that?
newest edition. These are bobbleheads.
What
Cade
the
Cunningham,
fuck?
you got the beard
that
going
doesn't
on.
look anything like him.
So that's what I was saying.
He looks like Eddie from Street Fighter. Like, that does not look
Dude,
like
that
Cade.
looks like Trey Birmingham.
Yeah.
That's not Cade Cunningham.
That does not Trey Birmingham.
Now we don't have KG in studio. We don't have JB in studio. But who it reminded me of most? I don't know if I even sent the video. Or actually, I think I sent the. I might not have sent it in Slack. Did I send the Carlito video in Slack?
No.
If you guys remember Carlito from like the 2000s, like WWE SmackDown, he used to have the similar hair to
spit in
the
the face
bobblehead
of
there.
people don't
Exactly.
yeah.
That's what he looked like to me,
Bro.
Carlito. I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
Bro just eating that. His whole shtick was just eating the apple in front of people and spitting
Spitting
at
in
them.
their
No
face,
way.
dude. Yeah.
That was his
Oh,
thing.
bro, I would beat the shit out of that guy. Are you kidding me?
Our guy
Pretty sure
Danny
that's his
Bennett
finisher.
actually.
He like takes a bite of the apple, spits in your face, and then kicks you. It's like ridiculous.
Why are they doing Cade like this? They're 0 for 2 with.
I just sent one, Chris. If you got time.
Okay, yeah, I
So I
got
will
it.
give a shout out to our guy Danny Bennett because he's actually in this one.
Oh my god.
Guy from Lions on Tap.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't wait.
So he's a big wrestling guy too, and he got to interview Carlito, and he got to experience himself. But in this video, is the bobblehead?
Is that Joyner Lucas?
That's a good one
That
too.
looks like Joyner Lucas way more than it looks like Cade Cunningham.
Come on down to LCA. We
Shout
got
out
Jordan
to
Lucas
Apollo.
bobbleheads.
Yeah.
Come on down to LCA. We got Carlito bobbleheads and all the above. But yeah, this.
Yeah, give
Stay
me
doing
one
Cade
second.
Cunningham. I think that was better than the plush doll. Though,
That's
no?
better than the plush doll, but it's not good.
Yeah.
Like, that is bad, dude.
Nick, where you ranking that one?
That's brutal.
They got whoever
I can't-
did.
They're giving that out to like little kids like keep bobbleheads like for their whole
That's what
entire
I'm
life,
saying.
and that's what the memorabilia of Cade Cunningham's gonna be.
That's what I said
That's
for
brutal.
the. That's what I
still-
said for the
yeah.
Cade for Telemundo doll.
Yeah.
It's like I wouldn't want to give this to my kid.
The finishing package.
Yeah.
I guess this kind of works too because Carlito's like what,
I would not want to
Dominican or
give
Puerto
that
Rican?
to my child and be like, hey, this is your franchise point guard. No, it's an inaccurate representation of what Cade Cunningham looks like.
All right. Here's
spit in your
here's
face.
a video
Another
of
one.
Carlito.
Here goes the guy Daniel Bennett.
This shit. I'm keeping it 3 kids so I get the reaction.
Carlito, get your shot CSW Heavyweight Championship tonight. BSK cheated his way all the way through.
It's crazy.
He looks exactly like him.
Yes, bro. That bobblehead's Carlito.
That's literally who it is. That dude's
Oh man,
Bro, no fucking way. I don't care how cut you are, Carlito. If you spit an apple in my face, I'm slapping the shit out of you.
That guy beat the fuck out of you.
I don't care.
That guy's a monster. Watching him, I don't know how big Daniel is in like real life, but
Yeah.
like,
That's a
fuck
big
that.
dude.
That's a big dude. Yeah, he's like the boy thick.
Juice to the gills for sure.
Absolutely, that guy's on everything.
Hey, shout out Danny Bennett though. That's funny.
Yeah, shout out Danny Bennett. He's a man. Now this is a story that I've seen before. I'm assuming you just come across it for the first time. The Dan Campbell tooth story.
Yeah.
Is there like video or picture?
There was a graphic of Jared Goff's quote, but it's from a couple days ago, so I don't know if it's still in there. But
Let's see if I can find it.
Jared Goff was saying that
In our Slack?
they had it's all right. They had a speech. I'm paraphrasing here, but Jared Goff said they had a speech. Dan Campbell was giving this intense speech, to the whole team about what they're gonna do this year, who they're gonna be, and in the middle of the speech, his tooth flies out, and like a literal tooth flies out of his head. And without breaking character, without breaking the speech, he just picked it up and put it back in his mouth and just kept going. Like
That's my coach. That's my coach.
Dude, yeah.
I love that.
Fuck.
That's
Doesn't
some
matter
shit.
if you have one ass cheek
by the way,
and
it's
three
Darren
toes.
Riccardi
I will
Day.
beat
That
your
is-
ass.
yeah.
Shout out to D-Mac. If you
That's
guys
some
have been down in
D-Mac shit.
LCA, I think he's by Portal 8 and 9.
Yeah.
Is it the ones?
Yeah.
Go check out, hang out with him. But that's some D-Mac would do.
That is D-Mac shit for sure.
Like D-Mac's talking fucking tooth fly out of his head.
That is
The culture!
That's why when D-Mac and Dan Campbell
Oh, yeah.
got together over, I think it was training camp this year. I was
Kids talking about aura.
That is the
That was aura.
that is the greatest combination of. Could you imagine a fucking tag team of Darren McCarty and Dan Campbell?
When they made contact in the handshake, goosebumps.
It was probably
And hairs on people's necks started like
I don't-
lifting up.
Not a lot of people watch One Piece, but like when they connect, it's like a Clash of Conquerors hockey. Like the handshake is like.
That's what I'm saying.
Everything
I felt it. Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple books fell off the shelf.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know how to read them, but they fell. I didn't know where to put them back.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out alphabetical order. It didn't work that way. No, that's
Dewey Decimal System, not alphabetical order.
that's how you do it.
Yeah, that's how you organize books in a library.
I did not know that.
You never heard about the Dewey Decimal System?
Actually, no, I know about Dewey Decimal
Shout out to
System. That's how
Dewey
you know
Decimal
you find this
System.
shit.
Shout out
Dewey.
Dewey Decimal.
Shout out Dewey Decimal.
Shout
my
out
boy.
Dewey
Shout out my boy Dewey Decimal.
Shout out Dewey. Get him out the cage. He ain't done nothing wrong. He just like moving books around.
Some brief UFC news before we go to break because it's been on the prep sheet forever too. It's rumored that Israel Adesanya will make his return fight against Khamzat Chimaev. How you feeling about that?
Khamzat Chimaev?
Yeah, because so the UFC has yet to
I love
announce
it.
this, but the England or whatever promoter or whatever stadium website that sells the tickets, they already have tickets up for sale. I believe it's in July, which is International Fight Week, which would make sense because Khamzat's from freaking Bearfuck Nowhere.
Yeah.
And then I know that's not a thing, Bearfuck Nowhere, but that's what I think of when I think of
Yeah.
that guy. He's a fucking grizzly bear.
Buttfuck Egypt.
Buttfuck Egypt, that
yeah.
works too. And obviously Israel
That's kind of
Adesanya from.
racist, though.
Well, he's not from Egypt though,
Yeah, but
because he's Muslim. Where are we going with
I
this
don't
one?
know. It feels bad to say about a guy named Khamzat Chimaev.
Buttfuck
It's okay.
Egypt.
You can say
He's from the Russias. He's from
Bearfuck Nowhere is better, even though it's more racist.
Buttfuck Nowhere. Or is that sexist?
I don't know.
What is it if you're saying something against the community? Is it still sexist or
Prejudice.
prejudice?
Yeah.
Oh, against.
The Ellen Johns.
It's
You
a hate
yelled at me
crime.
last time I
It's-
called
yeah,
something.
it's fair. It's a hate crime.
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
it's
'Cause it's not- it
just
can't be sexist.
discriminatory
Yeah.
or prejudice. Yeah,
Is it?
yeah. It's not sexist. It's discriminatory. Yeah,
That works for anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
You just use that.
yeah.
I feel like they want their own name. They want their own name for everything else.
Girl, you gotta relax, man. We got eyes on us now, you know.
Oh, you're right. I'm not. I'll leave that alone. No, tell us about Jack Labrador.
Please, Jared Goff, my Lord and Savior.
Lord, like,
Jack Labrador, football season is officially over and spring training is right around the corner. However, Jack Labrador is 24/7, 365 days a year. Learn how to play now on your phone at jacklabrador.gg. 2 new symbols and a franchise-changing 3-point play. And remember that once you go Jack, you never go back. jacklabrador.gg now. Join in on the fun.
Love Woodward
Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Are you tired of the same old Detroit sports merch? It's a new era in sports wearables, amazing appeal, the ultimate swag. Head over to woodwardsports.com, click the shop tab today because they got hoodies, hats, tees, all guaranteed to turn heads. So head on over to woodwardsports.com and click the shop tab today.
Merch.
Buongiorno.
Arrivederci.
And welcome back to Woodward Heavyweights Live at WoodwardSports.com. I'm boy Eazy, my guy Spin More Rax.
What up, though?
Young Chris, Nicholas Koloff. Smash that like button. Be a friend, tell a friend. First and foremost, smash that like button.
Smash.
Gotta sit through a Tiger segment, a couple of them. Actually, I'm excited to talk about these ones. This is exciting news.
1.5 million, boys.
What a steal.
We're spending big.
Yeah, hey, I mean, I'm gonna take it.
Big
I'll take it.
spending.
Like I know that 1.5 million isn't it's not the Chapman that you wanted, but this guy is a great player when he's right, when he's healthy. He has a in 2022 that he played 144 games. He had 501 at bats. He had a 285 batting average, a 338 on-base percentage, and a 429 slugging percentage with a 767 OPS. Like, this is a guy you can put anywhere in the lineup. When he is on, when he's healthy, he hits well. He hits for average. He's got a little pop, nothing crazy. Like I said, in 2022, he had 13 home runs, 64 RBIs. But it is an everyday third baseman. It is a guy who, in 2022, in 144 games, only had 6 errors and had a 98.3 fielding percentage. And this is Gio Urshela. This is the Tigers' new third baseman who's already in Lakeland. He signed a 1-year, $1.5 million contract. He's coming off of a pretty substantial injury, but he is completely recovered from this injury, and he's ready to go. Like, when he plays well. You probably remember him from the Yankees, his time with the Yankees, where he played very well. This is a guy who is better than Matt Vierling. He's better than Ibanez. He's better than McKinstry. He is a guy who could be your everyday third baseman. You got him for a very, very cheap deal.
Nick?
Yeah, they were I mean, we're a week into spring training here.
Yeah.
They pulled out the phone. They said, all right, this is not happening. So a week into spring training, they already know they have to make a move. I like the numbers you just pointed there, the defensive numbers.
Yes.
I think he's going to be able to help Javi Baez out next to him a lot because he can make a lot of plays at third base. I think back to his 2019 year with the Yankees. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's a small ballpark, but he put up a .889 OPS.
Yeah.
That is like borderline, like not superstar, but like all-star type numbers. So he definitely has potential. Can he stay healthy? I'm not going to overreact and say he's going to be, one of the best hitters on this team. But if he can be a solid guy, getting on base with his average and not striking out too much, not chasing too many Ks, I think this will help this team. Like I complained about, we just needed big leaguers. Mm-hmm. I didn't want this rotation for this lineup. And that does not help out the young hitters on this team. Hopefully, Gio Urshela can be a guy with his .299 average from last year in limited action. Yeah,
and they did. They got 2 big leaguers to bring, like Gio Urshela, and then people forget about Mark Canha. Like, bringing on Mark Canha, he is another guy who in 2023 hit .262 with a .355 on-base percentage and a .400 slugging, breaking down to a .755 OPS with 13 home runs and 61 RBIs. Like, he was in the 4 spot for the Brewers for a lot of the year last year. It's this is an impressive get. It's not going to blow your socks off. He's not going to be
It's a good get. I
an
won't say
all-star,
impressive.
but it is a good get. It is a very good get for the guys, the Tigers, who needed a third baseman. And Chris, do you have the tweet I put up? Because when you break down this starting lineup for the Tigers now and what their batting rotation is going to look like going forward, it looks pretty good. Am I crazy to say that it looks pretty good when you go 1 through 9 with this Tigers lineup? And I like what I'm seeing out of it. It starts, obviously, at the top. Obviously, is Parker Meadows going to be your leadoff guy? And then in the 2 spot, whether it's Kana, whether it's Urshela, whether it's Colt Keith, if he gets hot, he's not going to start at the 2 spot. But then your 3, 4, 5, 6 of Green, Torkelson, Carpenter, and whoever's at 6, whether it's Keith or Urshela or Kana or what that combination looks like. And then you round it out with whoever's left out of those 3, Javi Baez in the 8 hole. Yeah, this is where I had it here. Meadows, Urshela, Green, Torkelson, Carpenter, Keith, Kana, Baez, Rogers. And if you want to switch Kana with Urshela, I'm not mad at you. It's 2 guys who have a career over 7.3 OPS. So whoever you're putting in there at the 2 hole, I'm not mad at. If you'd rather have Kana, if you'd rather have Urshela, that's who it is. But that's a lineup that can win you 80-plus games. That 1 through 9 can win you 80-plus games, especially in a dog-piss American League Central.
What makes Parker the leadoff hitter?
Because he's fast and he gets on base.
Nick?
Yeah, I like Parker on top. He, his speed. Not again, damn it. I like Parker on top a lot.
Hell yeah, brother.
He's probably the fastest guy on the team right now.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he goes first to third super quick, and I like his stealing base ability, especially if a guy like Green or Urshela is behind him, because they can drive him in. I mean, if Parker Meadows is getting on early, I like his odds to steal second.
Yes.
I think he's the fastest guy on this team, especially nowadays. People are running more than ever, so I like Parker getting up there. I need this offense. If they can score runs, I really like this pitching staff going into this year, and Chris Fetter running them, because I think Tariq Skubal is going to be an absolute stud.
Yes.
I know I sent Chris some footage we have later of Casey Mize throwing some bullpen, and he was looking pretty good. He was throwing to a guy in Torkelson. We'll get to that later. But I think this team's going to, they're at their best when we're pitching very well, and if this offense can put up some runs, I do like us to win like 84 to like 86 games.
You know what this lineup reminds me of? Outside of Javier Baez, this lineup reminds me of a San Francisco Giants lineup. This lineup reminds me of a Tampa Bay Rays lineup, where it's guys that aren't these super big household names or these superstars, but you got a lot of young talent and you got a couple solid OPS, solid MLB hitters sprinkled through all of it. And that's what I like. That's what you have right now. You're not spending because of the Bally contract, and like you saw what happened with the Padres last year.
Wait, what was going on with the Bally contract?
Because when Bally gets rid of the rights, that's like a huge multi-$100 million revenue stream that the Tigers just aren't going to get anymore.
When are they doing that? Like, when's that's going down?
I don't know. It's any time. They're going to pull, because they went bankrupt, so they're pulling the plug pretty soon. And the Amazon contract's not going to hit this year. So it's like literally what happened with the Padres last year. Like, they lost a $100 million revenue stream, and we're like, fuck. All right, we're trading Juan Soto, like, immediately.
Yeah, I can't believe that.
So that's what happens. When you lose out on that much money, you can't afford a $300 million contract, so they had to get rid of him. And
so young.
So that's why they're not. But Neil broke it down on BDE. I was like, that makes a lot of fucking sense. And this is a good signing for your everyday third baseman this year, and that's what he's going to be. Gio Urshela is not going to be an all-star third baseman, but he is an above-average hitter. How many guys on the team last year?
Average-wise.
Yeah, how many guys on the team last year had a 750 OPS?
4, I believe it was.
Yeah, so you bring in another guy like that, that definitely helps. And on top of that, he is a great fielder when healthy. So it was a great signing.
Yeah, he's a big leaguer, and that's all I was asking Chris Ilitch to do, was to sign somebody that's an actual big leaguer at third. I mean, we saw the Vierling, McKinstry, Ibanez thing work out last year. I know Ibanez hits lefties very well. I believe Gio Urshela does as well, but I think Gio's way better on third base defensively. So I think that will definitely benefit them going forward. And another thing, I mean, just to think about here, there's so many guys that aren't getting contracts. And we talk about the pitching and how we think that's going to be the cream of the crop for this team. But there's 2 star pitchers out there, one in Blake Snell. That's a pipe dream that you just broke down the contract. I don't think we could ever bring in the NL Cy Young, a winner.
Not a chance.
But he's still on the market.
Yeah.
If this division really is up for grabs, how serious are they and they want to win? I know they say that we have players coming up like Jace Young through the market that we didn't want to give a big contract to a hitter. But I don't know if that's stopping me from bringing in a pitcher. And a Trevor Bauer that you could even take a flyer on for 1 year. He has some baggage with some claims in the past that turned out to be false.
Yeah, false claims.
And so it's like, is he just getting blackballed from the whole entire MLB right now? I'm not sure. And then you got hitters like Cody Bellinger, JD Martinez. There's still guys out there that I just wouldn't look past if I were the Tigers.
I would love JD Martinez to come home. I love JD Martinez when he was a part of the Tigers.
Still out there.
And even though I like our outfield where it sits at right now, especially, shout out Akil Baddoo, but when Akil Baddoo's not out there, it's good. That's a good sign for Tigers fans. Like, he had his Linsanity run, and it kind of crashed and burned. Akil Baddoo is going to be, in AAA. He's going to hit 280. He's going to hit 20 home runs. But he's not an everyday major league player. So now if Parker Meadows can be that guy at the top of the lineup, obviously Riley in the corner and Carpenter or Canna or whoever you put on the other corner in DH, that's a good, solid outfield lineup. Of course, you got the fill-in guys that you can bring in. But I think if they're serious into it, which I think they're going to be, if they're in the lead or a couple games out of the Central title at the trade deadline, I could see them adding a starting arm at the trade deadline. I could see them going after somebody. Even though I like the additions of Maeda and Flaherty as MLB arms to go and mix in with all the young guys you got, because obviously we all have extremely high hopes for Skubal. We don't know what we're getting out of Casey Mize this year. Is he going to come back? Is he going to be that 1-1? I think he will, because I love his stuff. When he's on, he's got one of the dirtiest pitches in the MLB. Like, his splitter is one of the nastiest pitches in baseball. So when he's on, he's good to go. But we don't know if he's ready yet. What's going to happen with Matt Manning? Is he going to keep progressing? What's going on with Reese Olson? I loved Reese Olson at the end of the year last year, but when he gets 30 starts in a season, how's he going to look? We'll see, but I'm excited for the fucking Tigers this year. I am. They were fun to watch last year. I think they're going to be fun to watch again this year, and they're going to win games.
Now, is there an example of a team recently, within the last 10 years?
The Orioles last year.
With this many prospects as starters?
The Orioles last year.
Yeah.
The Orioles were supposed to be nothing last year, and all their young guys came up, stepped up, and they were great.
NL champions.
Yeah.
Arizona Diamondbacks as well,
too.
But they had a guy in Corbin Carroll that was basically, I don't know if he won the MVP, but he was right there in the race for MVP. That kind of leap is rare, but Riley Green has the potential to make that kind of leap if he does stay healthy. He is that kind of top-notch prospect. I mean, we've seen what he does when he is healthy. Hopefully he can bulk up a little bit in right field, bring a little bit more of the power without losing too much speed. Yeah. And I believe if he's not diving all over the place in center field, he has a better chance to stay healthy. So if he can do that, I think Riley Green can take a massive step. And then Torkelson cut down on some of the strikeouts, be able to hit some high cheese that we'll get into later. I can see him taking a leap. But these guys, their star prospects that they had that have carried the momentum into the big leagues after a year or two, they need to take that next step for the Tigers if they really want to contend.
Look at us doing that baseball.
Dude, the Tigers are
so
exciting,
proud.
man. The Tigers are exciting. They're fun to watch. They got good young players that are going to come into their own this year. If Riley Green plays 140-plus games this year, he's going to be an all-star. He's going to hit over 300, and he's going to hit 25-plus home runs. Jesus, DNC. I mean, I'm down for that, too.
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah,
I'm
down.
down.
Make it happen.
But like I said, if Riley Green does that, if he plays at least 140 games, he's going to hit over 300. He's going to hit 25 home runs. He's going to be an all-star. Torque is going to hit 40-plus home runs this year. He's going to be probably around 260, 270, and have 100 RBIs. I'm excited for the Tigers this year, man.
When we get back, I'm going to talk about the hype machine that is Jackson Jobe. And maybe a little bit of Jace Young, too. Because
Jackson Jobe's spin rate, dude.
We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. But first, I'll tell you guys about Feldman Chevrolet, the #1 Chevy dealer in the state of Michigan. There's over 18 locations and one right in your backyard. Make sure you guys check them out. That's FeldmanAuto.com for the one closest to you. And also, check out the best car buying experience over at Feldman Chevrolet Novi. That's FeldmanChevrolet.com. Oh.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports. How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Happens when you run a great business for over 50 years. You expand and offer more products to more people. That is exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC, the same great service the customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today and find the brands you want at LesStanford.com.
What up, though? Welcome back to the World Heavyweights live on WoodSports.com. My boy Eazy, joined by guy Spinmo Rax, young Chris, Uncle Nick, a.k.a. Nicholas Koloff, a.k.a. Detroit Mario, a.k.a. whatever.
Let's go.
Caked up for the city.
Let's go.
Hey, smash that like button if you guys are rocking with the heavyweights. We appreciate you. Be a friend, tell a friend, and share the stream. A couple more baseball segments, and I promise you guys, we got a little bit of Pistons in here. We got a little bit of, actually, do we have Red Wings in here?
I don't know. We can do
maybe,
it, though.
Maybe, yeah, probably should towards the end a little bit. I'm down for some Red Wings. But also talking some Detroit Lions, some draft stuff. We have a couple mock drafts coming up from Detroit Lions beat reporters. But first, Jackson Jobe.
Jackson Jobe.
I heard Manning was kind of picking on him a little bit. He's like, hey, come on, man. You can throw harder than that.
Yeah.
And he started whipping high 90s.
Yes.
And they had to tell him calm down a little bit there.
Yeah.
Why isn't he on the opening day roster?
This kid's going to be nasty. Well, he's obviously coming off of the surgery, but he's not ready just yet. He's still going to be. He's going to probably start off in AA this year, I would assume. But his stuff, dude. His stuff is nasty. His four-seam averages at 96. He's gotten up to 98.5 already with his four-seam that's got like 2,500 RPMs. And then you look at his breaking balls. He's got the cutter. Even the cutter he has, it goes from 85 to 93 miles per hour with over 3,000 RPM. Like, this kid is nasty, nasty, filthy stuff. And he's coming off of this injury. He looks like he didn't skip a beat. This high 90s velocity that he's throwing is extremely impressive. He won't be in AA too long throwing like this. Like, he's not going to be in AA too long next year if he continues to throw like this. He's 21 years old, obviously coming off the injury, so they're trying to kind of ease him into it. But if he gets on, if they try to put him in single A, he is going to be pitching like a fucking prime Verlander out there. Like, this kid is way too good to start in single A this year. I see him starting in AA, and I see him moving up to AAA pretty fast.
I'm looking right now. I think it was like 99 he ended up hitting.
Yeah, 98.6.
I agree with you, Spencer. I think single day would be a disgrace to Jackson Jobe. I mean, the injuries. It's always been about the injuries with Jackson Jobe. We know he has the talent. That's why he went so early in the draft. I was mad back then because we needed a shortstop desperately. We passed on guys like Marcelo Mayer for Boston and Jordan Lauer for the Arizona Diamondbacks that I thought we needed. But I'm officially on board the Jackson Jobe hype train. Dude had 84 Ks last year to 6 walks. Mm-hmm. All he does is strike MFers out. Yeah. He is an elite arm, like top guy, like future Cy Young type stuff this kid has. His dad was a pro golfer, so you know it's in his genes already. And this kid is going to be something special. He just has to stay healthy. That's his biggest concern. I know he's been his changeup's been really coming along to go along with that slider and the top-notch fastball with spin and movement. So I think this dude, sky's the limit for Jackson Jobe. Hopefully he can get up to AAA quick and start knocking on the door.
He's got ace stuff. You're right. He's got ace stuff. Like when they picked him, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little upset because I didn't know.
I remember.
I didn't think we needed another young arm.
Yeah.
But then, like, I looked at his stuff. I was like, Jesus, like, this kid is filthy, man. And he's recovered very well from the surgery, so him coming back will be very important to his fast track to the MLB. But I think, like I said, I think he's going to be in AAA very soon. I don't think it's going to take him long, because I think he goes into AA and he shows the stuff he has, and he looks nasty. So I think they're going to move him up to AAA pretty quick.
Yeah, I love that story too that you guys told about Matt Manning giving him a little bit of a little peer pressure to get it up there, and he showed out for it.
Yeah, I mean, cause a lot of the stories I hear in camp, like with the young guys, when they get there in the big leaguers, they get a little bit like starstruck. And like with him, trash talk on top of it, he only like showed up for it. On top of just kind of being like spectacle in itself, because I hear like every time he's on the mound, like he draws crowds. Everyone's going over there to watch him, because what he's ranking like top 25, and like across the MLB as prospects go. We'll see, man. Yeah, we'll see. How about Jace Young?
Jace Young, we'll see on him. He's still got a little bit to go. Obviously, it's a lot different when you're looking at the plate. When you go up in between the rankings, like hitting is the one thing. When you go up from AA to AAA, the difference of pitching caliber is huge. So at the plate, you're going to make the biggest difference. But Young is a guy who I wasn't in love with the pick, but we'll see what happens, what he does. I don't have him and Job could be September call-ups this year. I'm not going to stake my life on that. I would say Job would be a September call-up before Young, just to give him some innings at the major league level. But we'll see what happens with Young. I'm not too worried about him yet, because of, especially now that we got Urshela, and with the three guys behind him of Ibanez, McKinstry, and Vierling, I'm not too worried about Young yet. You can let him marinate, let him get a lot of ABs this year to get that confidence at the plate, and then bring him up possibly next year.
Yeah, shout out Tigers minor league report on X on Twitter, because I am locked
That's like
in.
Rogelio, isn't it?
I am locked in to that all the time throughout the year, because the Tigers have been so bad the past like 4 or 5. Well, God knows how many seasons at this point. But the big thing about Young is he got better as he progressed from high A ball to double A, and that's exactly what you want to see. It's not always the case out of your top rookies or top prospects, but he did that. So if he can start out in AAA, if he starts raking, I do like to see a possibility of him getting called up if guys like Urshela, McKinstry, Vierling, who else? Ibanez are showing out at third base. Are some of these guys going to get cut, or what? Are we just going to have a rotation?
Like who?
The third baseman. If I'm saying Young starts balling out, like I don't know what we're gonna do.
If Young?
Jace
like Young.
McKinstry and Ibanez, those are all utility guys. You can move them around.
Second
they can play. They can play a lot
yeah.
of the infield positions. They can play a lot of the outfield positions. So it's good to have a couple of those guys on the roster. We'll see what happens. One of them's probably going to get sent down. They're not all going to be on the opening day roster with the signing of Urshela. All three of those guys aren't going to be on the opening day roster. So we'll see who makes the cut. It's going to be a battle. Those three guys, 2 of them are probably going to make the opening day roster. So their spring is really important for them.
Does Avila get any credit for like the pitching staff?
No. Chris Fetter gets credit for the pitching staff. Like, Avila made picks. He made good picks.
How long has Chris Fetter been here?
But they couldn't develop anybody. Broder, I don't know.
3 years.
Broder's still there.
Yeah,
Broder. They're boys. They're literally boys.
I think it was 3 years.
Yeah, he came with Hitch.
AJ.
So,
okay.
Yeah. And Chris Fetter is the reason these guys look as good as they do. The reason these guys have developed. He is the best pitching coach in the MLB, and he's going to be MLB head coach very soon. So we'll see what happens there. But I don't give Avila credit for that. He's, like I said, he made some good draft picks, but he didn't develop anybody.
And the way we talked about Job and how his dad was a golf player, so he has the lineage. Jace Young's brother Josh Young was like 4th in All-Star voting last year, or 5th actually. Yeah, he was 4th for a World Series winning Texas Rangers at age 25. So Jace Young's 23. I believe he'll get into the majors by next year. So he's kind of right on track to kind of do the exact same thing Josh Young did. And he's a third baseman, power hitting third baseman for the Texas Rangers. If Jace Young could be a step below that, or just kind of on his level, that would be massive for this team moving forward, to pair with a guy like Colt Keith at second base, Torque at first, obviously Riley Green in the outfield. So hopefully this guy can keep progressing at the rate he is, and start doing some big things this year in AAA for the Mud Hens.
Mm-hmm.
The Toledo Mud Hens.
Toledo Mud Hens, man.
Eskimo brothers.
You think they are?
I'll tell you during break.
Yeah.
We gotta go to break.
Easy's got some ties to them.
Tell us about Guardian Alarm, Spinny.
Guardian Alarm offers you customized solutions from real experts. Their professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. They also have 24/7 professional monitoring. You can call them anytime, day or night, and know a team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. And of course, they have technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. So call them at 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
And let them know Woodward Sports sent you.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Have you ever wondered where all the finest restaurants get their steaks? It's Fairway Packing Company, providing Michigan restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef for over 60 years. But now you can buy these cuts of meat for yourself at the Steak Shop by Fairway Packing Company. Prime porterhouse, A5 Japanese New York strip steak, dry aged Wagyu beef tomahawk. Delicious. Get to the Steak Shop today. Enjoy fine wine, have a private party, and get the finest cuts of meat anywhere. The Steak Shop on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods, or order online, fairwaypacking.com.
Dispo Dispensary is the best curated cannabis in the business. Plus, they got tons of big name brand products and the best bud tenders around. Make sure you guys stop by. There's over 12 locations across the great state of Michigan. And if you can't make it to them, they'll make it to you with Dispo Dash. Just visit disposhops.com. It's Dispo, your local cannabis plug.
Check it out.
Check it out. Dispo is that spot.
Rip.
Lots of rips.
Yeah, a lot of rips now.
Yeah. What? Oh, yeah.
Cemetery.
Yeah. We do got one. What up, welcome back to Woodward Heavyweights live on WoodSports.com. I'm Eazy, Spinmo Rax, Young Chris, Unky Nick. Someone just asked in the Woodward Sports chat, and this wasn't going to be an initial topic, but now I think it should be. Who are you guys watching tonight?
There should be no questions.
we got the Ivy and the Matherin beef still
Don't
up
give
too.
a fuck. You should watch the Red Wings.
You be flipping back and forth.
You should
that's
watch
the
the
reality
Red
of
Wings,
it.
unless it gets out of hand. But you are gonna watch the Red Wings coming home.
The Red Wings?
The Red Wings coming home from a Western Canada and Seattle trip. So they're gonna be juiced to play in front of their home crowd. They're gonna be juiced because it's DMAC night. And you're gonna see two of the top 7 players in the NHL. Like, if you guys want to see superstars, go watch the Red Wings game, because Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar are 2 of the top 7 players in the NHL. Like, those guys are legitimate superstars. So it's going to be a fun game to watch.
That's fair, but Aaron Neesmith's been on a tear lately. The Indiana Pacers are pretty fun to watch. No, I'm kidding. But you make a valid case. I'm still going to be watching back and forth. He actually did have some good games, not going to lie, recently, while Halliburton was out. But, yeah. There's no argument. There's no argument. It's a legendary night in the Red Wings franchise history, and this is the no doubt better team.
Fucking Darren McCarty day.
I'm gonna be going back and
awesome.
forth between the games. I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah,
but
shout out to DMAC. I put a tweet out there, but if there's anybody who deserves to get a day for them at LCA, it's Darren McCarty. Like,
absolutely,
everything he does for the fans, everything he's done for me personally, and I know everyone here. Like, this man lives for other people. He is the most selfless person I've ever met in my entire life. He is one of my biggest role models in life. I'm happy to call him a brother. I'm happy to call him a friend. He deserves this. I hope you guys all go show out for DMAC, because he's the man. He is, like, everything you see him, that's who he is. He is a genuine, real, caring person, and I'm glad he gets honored at LCA tonight.
I'd like to second that too. Darren McCarty is one of the best human beings I've ever met in my life.
Yes.
One of the most selfless people I've ever met in my life, and that's including after he's done everything he's done. One of the things I respect about him most is, like, anything this guy set out to do in life, he's accomplished. Yeah. He wanted to be an NHL player, became an NHL player. He wanted to win a Stanley Cup. Won a few of them.
Won 4 of them.
Retired from that, wanted to do music. Started his own band. Yeah. Went on a tour.
Yes.
Some people start their bands. They don't go nowhere outside of, like, their fucking local bar or garage. No, D-Mac went on a tour.
in London, right?
Yeah.
But that was for wrestling. Which is something he also wanted to do. And he's doing that as well.
He wanted to do stand-up.
Yeah. Started doing stand-up. Yeah. He's got the slapstick comedy tour.
He is the man. Like, D-Mac is the man. One of the coolest people I've ever met in my entire life. I'm happy for him. I'm glad he's getting his day.
all that while also just inspiring us and everybody that he's around to do the same things he's doing. Like, he's not just doing his thing. He's doing whatever he wants, which is like, he's honestly, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, he's like an adult child. Like, he's living the life. He's living his dreams. He's living, just doing whatever he wants to do. Whatever passions he has in that moment, he's doing it, and he's doing it to the most. And as a result, that's something that I feel like everyone should chase in life. Like,
I'm like a Darren McCarty tattoo.
Yeah.
Dude,
I might.
I
It's
would.
gotta be like a sweet one though.
I would.
Shout out D-Mac. First time I walked in here, he looked me in the eyes, shook my hand. He said, "You ever need anything, you come to me."
Yeah.
And it was like, damn, welcome to Woodward.
And he means
you know
it.
D-Mac.
He means
yeah,
it.
I know
He means
100%.
it. Yeah.
And you know, like, D-Mac's here, but you never think, like, first day that you're going to get welcomed with that, you know?
Yeah.
So that was really awesome. And D-Mac made me feel super comfortable being here. I
Actually,
appreciate
to second that, real quick, there was a story where we were here. We were doing the Lions pregame, and we were downtown. We had half the crew downtown, half the Woodward crew downtown. We were here in studio to prep for it. Nick was downtown, and D-Mac was filling in for the pregame show. And Nick, I know you remember this. D-Mac was like, Chris, light his phone up right now. Like, get him down there.
Take
like,
a video of me.
Let him just interview people, man. That's what the people want. They want to see everybody downtown enjoying the atmosphere. Like, you know how D-Mac is. It's on 10 when he talks.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
So much energy and passion. So I've texted him, and D-Mac's like, no, call him.
Yeah.
Call him. And then Nick sent back what he did, and he's like, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is incredible. Like, it was just, it just shifted the energy of the room.
D-Mac is the ultimate man of the people. He's done a lot of things for me personally in my life that I don't really want to share on air, but that have helped me out immensely, and I can never, repay him for the things that he's done for me. But I remember the first moment of, like, my holy fuck moment at Woodward Sports was, it was before I was even the TD of BDE, so it was about 2.5 years ago. Before I took over that role from Sawyer, I was walking in to do bets, and D-Mac was in the parking garage. He's like, "Hey, Spenny, you want to smoke a joint?" I was like, "Fuck yeah!" So I went over there, and we were ripping a joint. I was like, "I just smoked a joint with Darren McCarty, and now I do it like every day." So it's pretty awesome, The ultimate man of the people, the ultimate just genuine human being is D-Mac's the man. Love that guy.
Yep. I mean, that's half the reason the Call of Duty situation went down. Is like he's that caring of his boy Drapes when that happened. When that went down. So,
and the man got me an autographed Steve Yzerman jersey. Like, I bought the jersey, but like, I was like, D-Mac, I don't like, if you know anything about me, I don't like asking anyone for anything, like, ever. Like, I won't let Eazy like pay for a lunch for me, and I'll like.
You almost fist fought over pizza.
We did almost get to fist fight over pizza because I was not gonna let him buy me pizza.
Well, simultaneously though, Spencer, simultaneously looking for that grandma that's at the end.
Yeah, also looking for the grandma that's trying to pay. But I don't like taking anything from anybody. I feel like
got a lot of life
I should earn the things, and so I was nervous about it, but it was for my dad for Christmas. I was like, D-Mac, like, if I get a Steve Yzerman jersey for my dad, do you think you can get him to autograph it for me? And he was like, yeah. He's like, of course. Like, for you? Yeah, of course. And I gave it to him, and he said, to Danny, best wishes, Steve Yzerman, 19. I was like, dude, that's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's too many people that have like a negative story from D-Mac.
Except for Claude Lemieux. Bam!
Even their boys.
Knee to the head. Yeah.
Claude Lemieux, do you know he's Sider's agent now?
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
That is pretty crazy. I don't like it, but
I don't like it either.
I don't like it for our terms.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's gonna be a bag.
Well, he's getting $12 million.
He's getting it regardless.
Yeah, he will. I mean, we have to retain him. But I know this is kind of like out there, but we're talking about these games, Pistons, Red Wings, just breaking down some of the lines where this should reflect where you should be spending your time. Pistons, plus 520 on the road tonight in Indiana.
That's a lot of cash.
Means you bet 10, you get $52.
You doing it?
Hell no. But I had a question for you guys. We talked about the Ivy and Ben Math, the incident that happened at All-Star. You know Jaden Ivey's going to be coming ready to play, and so is Ben Math for that matter. His over-under is at 18.5 for Jaden Ivey.
I'll take the over.
He's been struggling the last 2 games before the All-Star break. You guys like Ivey to go over on that?
I would take the over, yeah.
On the numbers, like I think we went over this like when it initially went down, like virtually identical between the two of them. Like 22 points apiece every time they face each other. So I'm easy over. He's got to like avenge that whole because that's like it's different when it happens like on Bally's TV. It's like a Twitter thing between like Detroit Pistons Twitter community. The rest of those 12-year-olds. Yeah. This situation happened on national television and was a TNT tweet. It was an ESPN tweet, an NBA on ESPN tweet. Everybody was talking about it. And I'm going to say he got clowned, but at the end of the day, when you look at Mathurin getting the MVP, like the narrative of it is that, he did get clowned.
Yeah.
Mathurin 18 points.
He got sunned.
Yeah. And so, Ivy, if you're listening, if you give a shit about what I have to say, I don't know you don't have to. But I hope you go out there and you fucking dunk on his head.
Yeah.
At least 22. At least, fuck that, 25.
25.
Shut on this man's life.
I want to
break his ankles. Get your lip back.
And he gets
please.
up for this shit. You know, competitors. We know professional athletes. These guys, there's a reason they're professional athletes. Like, they're the most competitive people you'll ever meet in your entire life. And I know Ivy will get up for that. I'll take the over on him for sure.
Chris?
Do it during a commercial break.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking the over. I think Ivy's getting it back for everything you guys said, and this is, again, I said it last week, I think, when we talked about it, or as it was happening, that this is a good opportunity for Monty to also really take that relationship with Jaden Ivey and expound on it and grow, because we know that they've had their rough patches. Tonight's the night where he can say, look, Ivy, we are going to start the first quarter, first 4 plays. We're going to run through you. We're going to get you going. We know what this means to you. This is the type of game that you do, because the Pistons season is over. Like, they're not competing for the play-in. They're not competing for the playoffs. They are a team that's just trying to play games down the stretch and figure out what they have going into next summer. So this is a good opportunity for Monty to give Ivy the chance to really prove himself. So I think that could go a long way for a guy like Ivy and a young player's confidence.
Real quick, what'd you guys make of comments from Monty saying we're done messing around rotations? We're just going to win games now. Did you peep that? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Monty's saying the worst stuff.
Dude.
No,
He was
I mean,
like, oh, yeah, sorry.
I get what he's saying.
I get what he's saying. Like, you know what you got now, so just let it rip. But fuck, man.
Shit, been the case.
Yeah, why do starting like that's Chris is getting me a shirt, and starting Killian Hayes over Jaden Ivey is the definition of that shirt. Like it is like that was just a terrible decision. But
the Asar comments, he's like, yeah, he should have been in the Rising Stars game. It's like, dude, you were benching
You took him out of the lineup. Yeah.
Yeah, he completely took him out of the lineup. There's not a doubt he would have been in there. But to close this one, I want to ask you guys, Jaden Ivey is at plus 290 right now to get 25 points. I hope that he gets at least 23 shots in this ball game. Like you said, Chris, give a little faith into Jaden Ivey after everything he's done to him earlier in the season. Do you guys think he gets 25 tonight against
25 shots?
25 points.
Oh, yes.
Is that plus 290?
Yes.
I just took it.
I
just
would
took
do
it live
that.
on air. Yeah.
I think he's going to have a good shooting performance. Like I said, I talk to Lindsey Hunter, Darren McCarty, Braylon Edwards all the time. They get up for this shit. Like Lindsey, out of those 3 competitors, Lindsey is the most competitive out of those 2. Like Lindsey is a dog, bro, and he will fuck it. He talks about like throwing his son into the wall when they're playing pickup games and shit. Like they get up for this shit, man. And Ivy's cut from that same cloth. Like he knows. They say in the media that they don't pay attention. They don't know. They know. So Ivy's gonna get up for this.
Yeah, all that shit after All-Star Weekend, where Ben Mathurin was like, Ivy's a good player. We're both gonna have great careers. Nah, that's why D-Book commented what he commented. He's like, D-Book is known to have his beefs with NBA players, and he commented under the video, the viral video, this is why I fuck with both of them.
Yeah.
Because he knows that they're dogs. He knows that they'll say what they want to say to the media.
Bro,
they'll say the nice
swing.
things. But these two are gonna go at it this game. This is a statement game for both of them. So
shout out to Everything King. Shout out to Downtown Deuce. He did an interview with I think it's Jaden Hunter.
Yeah,
it's Jaden Ivey's dad.
Yeah.
And they discussed like this moment too, and he said Ivy had a couple things going on at home, and he expects his son to show out. He always shows out against Big Mathurin because they have that inner competition between each other.
Yep.
Since the draft, and I don't know if you guys remember when Mathurin's first game against the Pistons, if I'm not mistaken, dropped like 27. And then he had shit to say after the game, too. Remember he was talking shit during the game?
Yeah.
And then the post-game pressers, like, that shit took me. Just point blank. That shit hurt me in my heart. But at this point, Jaden Ivey's my guy. He's a Detroit Piston. I'm not going to fawn over Benedict Mathurin. There's no point in doing it. He's not on the Detroit Pistons. I'm rocking with Jaden Ivey tonight. As DNC said, if you don't hit that over, Are you guys questioning any type of heart? Because I need that from Jaden Ivey tonight.
No.
And that says a quote-unquote Jaden Ivey hater.
I would question Monty because if he doesn't get this, I believe it's all about minutes and shot opportunities. I think he's going to be shot hunting tonight like he was in that first game with Cade out when he put up 30-plus. Was it against the Kings? Before the break, Chris.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Like if it's gonna reflect on Monty as opposed to Ivy. Ivy, we know even when he has his terrible games, his effort's there.
Yeah.
So that's nothing to question. And I think Cade, to speak to Cade, is he's gonna also understand the moment, and I think he's going to want to. We've seen Cade be very, very selfless and look and talk about being a leader in the locker room and getting everybody going. So I think that they really are going to make Ivy a focal point tonight, and I think he's going to get all the opportunity in the world to showcase why he was a top 5 pick in a draft.
Yeah.
Would you rather Ivy get his lick back or Pistons get the win?
Ivy get his lick back.
Chris?
Yeah, Ivy get his lick back. I mean, I do want to see wins, but I think there's a world in which both happen. I really do.
No, yeah. Nick?
Yeah, I'm going for Ivy here. He got kind of embarrassed on the big stage.
Yeah, dude.
And it's just a tough look for a Piston team that's already down bad. I mean, what's another loss in this? I would love to see Ivy absolutely put up like 33 in a win. But, I mean, if I would rather take him going off in a loss, honestly.
I wouldn't say he even got embarrassed. Like, he definitely got outperformed. But I think that it's not embarrassing because I know that Ivy's going to bounce back. I know that Ivy's going to perform well. I don't think he took it that way. Like, it's rising stars. I think he's going to use this to fuel himself the right way. I think embarrass is a little too far. Because, I mean, Benedict Mather missed the free throws. Remember, he made the 25K
Sure,
bet.
he made 25K.
Free throws. Yeah.
But let me tell you guys about Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness is the home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym. You can have a full-body workout in 30 minutes in a 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all this for just $10 a month, no commitment. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by, more than 50 in Metro Detroit, and thousands more throughout the world. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new down-home comfort dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The down-home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of down-home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
Pet the best. Premier Pet Supplies, hands down Michigan's best pet store. Same prices and all the convenience of the big box and online retailers, with one major difference: they're family and locally owned and operated for 30 plus years. Over 60 brands of food with nutrition experts to help you. Same day local curbside home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best at www.premierpetsupply.com.
What up, though? Welcome to World Heavyweights Live on WorldSports.com. I'm Eazy, joined my guys from Mo Rax.
What up, though?
Chris, Uncle Nick.
Let's go.
Gotta ask you guys, because our guy put it out there on Twitter. Jack Kelly, one of the best Detroit Pistons.
Shout out Jack Kelly, dude.
If you guys aren't doing it right now, make sure you follow Jack Kelly at some point today. Put a great piece about Grimes, by the way, defensive piece. We already spoke about that on the show, but he put the numbers and the stars he guarded and what he limited him to. It was pretty impressive. But he put something out there today.
Interesting.
Very interesting, bro. It was, which 3 are you taking long-term Detroit Pistons core 4? And our guy, Koo, he took Cade, Ivy, and Asar were his 3. And I saw that same sentiment echoed throughout a lot of Pistons Twitter. A lot of accounts that I actually respect. Because not too many on Twitter respect.
Yeah.
A lot of accounts that actually respect, like, follow suit. What the fuck? What is going on?
I think they're looking at Jalen Duren. They're looking at his injury concerns. They're looking at, I don't want to say his lack of offensive upside, but his lack of shooting ability. And I think that's what they're looking at. If I'm picking 3, I'm picking Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, and Jalen Duren. Those are the 3 that I would go with moving forward. I love Ausar and what he can be, the potential he has as a playmaker, as a transition threat, and already as a defender. But I don't know. You could get a guy to fit better, a shooter possibly at that 3 spot that can defend as well. And I think 3 and D guys are easier to, even though the Pistons had struggled finding one for so long, 3 and D guys are easier to come along with in the NBA and easier to buy in free agency than elite talent at guards and a guy like Jalen Duren at the center is to find in free agency. So that's what I would go with. I would go with Cade, Ivey, and Duren as the 3 that I'm sticking with. But it's tough, man. That is it's a tough sentiment to have. It's a tough question to have. I personally love Jalen Duren. Like, I think he can be a great defender, and his jump shot is not bad. Like, he obviously doesn't have to shoot it a lot, and he doesn't really have the range for it, but the mechanics are great. It looks fluid. It doesn't look choppy or ugly. And as it goes on, I could see him developing a very nice, 12 to 16 foot jump shot to complement his game very well as he becomes older in the league. So I would go with Ivy, Cade, and Duren personally.
Chris?
This I actually flip-flopped. A couple weeks ago, I would have answered this differently, and I don't want to be too recency biased, so I kind of went above and beyond and did some extra research. Because my 3 is the 2 guards in the wing. It's Cade, Ivy, and Ausar. I love Duren. I have always had a soft spot for elite centers. I think that they're very pivotal. But when you look at the last 10 champions, the past 10 champions, the starting centers on their team, you got Jokic last year, then Looney, Brook Lopez, Dwight Howard, Marc Gasol, who was good but old at that point, JaVale McGee and Zaza Pachulia, whichever one started for 2 years, and then Tristan Thompson and Channing Frye, Andrew Bogut, and Tiago Splitter. Like, centers are good in the NBA, and a good center is extremely valuable. However, you can win a championship with guards and wings. That's way more prevalent.
Hall of Fame guards and wings. LeBron James and Steph Curry
Let him cook
most of those teams. And
no
on top
doubt.
of that, Dwight Howard was fantastic in that final series.
No, this is Dwight Howard on the Lakers.
Yeah. I know.
I mean,
Dwight Howard in that final series when he won his championship was fantastic for that Lakers team. Who'd you say before? Oh, Brook Lopez? You mean 3rd in Defensive Player of the Year voting, Brook Lopez, and a guy who shoots 35% from 3, Brook Lopez? Like, that, he's no slouch. And
I'm not. My point is not that these guys are slouches. But my point is that these guys are not the best player, or often the second best player, or often the 3rd best player on their team. A few of them are. Obviously, Jokic, Brook Lopez, I'd say was a 3rd best player. Or maybe you can have an argument because of Holiday, Middleton, putting those 2 over them as well. But that's what I'm saying, is that centers are a little bit easier to find. Like, you can win a championship today with Clint Capella. He's not the greatest center in the NBA, but that's the type of center that you can get and if you have the pieces around him, win a championship. It's harder to build with the center being one of your 3 or even 2 best players. So I just personally, if I'm building a team roster construction-wise, I would lean towards having 2 elite guards that can each take over a game, that can each win you a game on their own. It's no disrespect to Duren's upside and what I think he is and how much I like him as a player and want the core 4 to fit long term. If I have to pick one, I'm picking Duren. I just love what Ausar has flashed. I think he's shown the ability to be a center. I mean, he was literally at one point the 2nd best rim protector in the NBA to Rudy Gobert. Yeah. So he's shown to be able to be a center on defense, but then to do the things that he does offensively, I just think he's very special, and I like him long term. And again, the ankle injury stuff.
Yeah.
Damn.
And the what is it?
Knee. Oh, the clitoris.
Yeah, the clitoris.
The cervix.
Cervix.
We all have a weak cervix. Oh, and not to mention my last point quickly. The number 1 projected pick right now is a big in this year's draft.
You're a big.
So,
yeah, who's going to be a 6 man on a good team. My bad, Chris. I'm just pissed about the draft.
The draft
that
is
was
weak
that
this
was
year.
way. I'm so bad.
Clear.
My bad. Yeah, Chris. I'm sorry about that. I'm angry.
He just
I'm
added
angry.
the scope right there. That was crazy.
I know. My bad.
Let him cook.
Barrett 50
I
cal
apologize.
straight.
I apologize for that. My bad. All right,
You
yeah.
apologize.
So we're not going to talk about Alexander Sarr here because Jalen Duren is the future for the Detroit Pistons at center. And I want to bring up just one player, and his name's Bam Adebayo. He had 7 points, 5.5 boards, 1.5 assists in his age 20 season. Jalen Duren is averaging 14 and 12 and 2.5 assists. And when it comes to his free throw percentage, we talk about that shot.
Yeah.
He's shooting 74% from the stripe.
Yeah.
The fundamentals are there for Jalen Duren. I love his passing upside. I think if he didn't get hurt earlier in this season, which is a valid point to think about, why you would be maybe a little bit concerned about him, but I thought he was going to flirt with potential All-Star. Honestly, I really thought Jalen Duren was going to at center. And I'm definitely keeping Cade Cunningham and Ivy to go along with Duren. But in my eyes, it's not the only thing I have against Asar Thompson. It's going to keep coming down to it. He's shooting 15.5% from three. You cannot start a player in the NBA that doesn't shoot at like a 32% from clip on the wing. Chris, what do you got?
The counter to that would be roster construction, right? And Asar, again, if you pair him at the 4, because I think he's going to end up transitioning to the 4 just because of the way he plays, his play style. He's going to be more of a 4. We've seen Monty experimenting with that now. So I kind of consider him more of a 4. And then you have a guy like Kristaps as your 5. Like a shooting, spacing big. And let Asar just roam defensively and be the monster. There's ways to, I get it, and so it's a fair point if you want to choose Duren over Asar because it is kind of tricky to construct a roster around Asar, but it's definitely doable. You put him on Denver's roster right now, he's crushing it. You put him with
the shooting around him.
Yeah, you put him with shooting and spacing, and he's going to look very, very good. Now, you put him in Minnesota, that's a mess.
Yeah, but you said, you're keeping Cade and Ivy as well, who are not the cold-blooded three-point shooters.
Yeah, they're not elite, but I think they're good enough, and I think they will be good enough. I think they'll continue to progress and be at a level that's respectable, and that's really what you need, right? Like JJ Redick talked about in his last year in the NBA. People still, gave him contracts because people still respected JJ Redick as a shooter, so they still treated him like all it was space. He wasn't in there to score 15 points anymore. He was in there to create space for others. So that's why I'm saying. That's why I would pick Asar.
D-Buck says there has been a limited amount of teams talking about building a team around 2 injury-prone players during a franchise rebuild outside of the Pistons. It's true. Cade and Duren are both have a lot of injury concerns.
I feel like everyone has had. Steph had his when he was coming into.
Yeah.
D-Book had his. Embiid.
LaMelo.
Everyone outside of LeBron James, I feel like has had a little bit of an injury history. KD.
KD had the real bad ankles.
KD just had the Achilles.
Yeah.
No, KD. He got hurt in OKC too. He had the foot
in OKC.
I say everyone but LeBron. So I don't know. Duren, he is a little young to be having that, and that could probably only get worse as a big man. I do understand that.
It's just the Amari Stoudemire. I can't get out of my head. And Amari was one of my favorite players, but that kind of comp it scares me because Amari was one of the best players in the NBA when he was at his peak, but he had a very short peak. Not saying I think Duren's going to be that, but it's hard to not kind of draw some similarities.
Damn. I was dead set on Duren, Cade, Asar until you made the
really
those Duren. Yeah, you get your defender on the wing position. This is going to guard close. 1 through 4, I'd say for damn sure.
Yeah, the best player.
You have your playmaker, Cade Cunningham, who can shoot. Obviously, it's not like shooting the blood out of the ball, as Spinney mentioned. And then you have your big, you would hope becomes like a rim protector, which he still. It's not at an elite clip at all, but it's solid.
You're saying Cade
Duren, Asar.
Yeah,
he's keeping Ivy out.
Of course he is.
It's a fit thing. It's not nothing against Ivy. Is a tremendous player. I've never not said that.
And then
it's just a fit.
2, 3, and D. You would say the other 2 spots in that lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
I think both both of those picks, whether whoever you cut,
either
can
way,
work.
you got to get 2.
You can build a competitive team. It just changes how you build the team.
Ken says Eazy is a bigger Ivy hater than Monty. That's facts, bro.
I'm really not. Oh, I mean, like, to respond to, like,
See if we can get him on the show.
Yeah.
What?
Eazy and Monty at the meeting of the Summits. It's that picture I sent of
Hold on, let me look right now.
the 2 dictators staring each
holy
other
shit,
down.
the Timberwolves, the number 1 team in the Western Conference right now?
Yes, bro.
That is wild.
Anthony Edwards is the man.
We think about all these
Anthony Edwards is probably my favorite player in the NBA right now.
Yeah, Nick, he's up there.
How good's Luka Doncic?
The best.
Extremely good.
Yeah, I mean, top 5.
Of course
right?
you say the best.
Me.
The best.
Yeah, I mean, come on,
Of course he's
come
the best.
All right.
Who's second best? Jokic?
Jokic.
Yeah.
How good's Kyrie Irving?
Third, Grady Dick.
Great player.
They're currently 7th in the Western Conference standings right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do not
Like,
coexist well
that's-
together.
They'll get
Thank
better,
you.
though, as with PJ Washington. That was a great ad.
That was a good ad for him.
Kyrie missed
But
a shit ton of time.
Let me
too.
make my stance. That's my thing with Cade and Ivy. That's how I view them. We've 2 individually good players, great players. I mean, they can be great. Obviously, they're very young right now, but just the pairing of the 2
But
just
their
doesn't
record-
fit.
But I get what you're saying, Eazy. They're not the perfect fit. But Dallas, that example you want to use, Kyrie and Luka have a better record when they're playing together than versus when one or the other is sitting. Like these guys,
sure,
it's not the most perfect fit. Yeah, because if you look at their hot streak came back when Kyrie came back. Kyrie missed a lot of time, and there were some ups and downs. There were some win streaks. There were some losing streaks. Luka, when he misses games, they've been up and down. There's been games where Kyrie led them to victory. There's been games where they lost. Their best record is when the 2 of them are together. So I think that it's not the cleanest fit, and that fit probably has a ceiling.
You want to know the record together?
Let's see.
23 and 21.
23 and 21. So what are they?
2 games above 500.
Yeah. Again, there's a ceiling to it, but
It's
they're
just,
better
it's not a good
without.
fit, bro.
I'll tell you
It's
what,
not a good fit.
DNC put a name in the chat that I really like, and that's Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, that's the player I want this
I would
summer.
love
I
Brandon
want.
Ingram.
I think that's very gettable. I think Brandon Ingram is out of New Orleans this summer.
And again, it's not hate, man. It's just a fit situation. I mean, you got 2 guys that you'd comfortably say are better than Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, and that situation's not working out well either.
I trade my number 1 pick right now for Ingram and run the core 4 with Ingram.
I would as well.
I feel more comfortable with that. For
I
sure.
would as well.
Yeah,
With the passing and the shooting
I
in
would
that,
love that.
situation.
Yeah, have Ingram and Asor
I
be in the
love
wings.
Brandon.
so much
I've
ball
always
handling,
loved
too.
Brandon Ingram, to be
That's
honest
nice.
with you.
Ingram and Asor as the wings and Dern in the
I was so
That'd be
pissed and confused because I'm a LeBron fan, Stan, if you will. I was pissed and they got rid of Ingram to bring in AD. I was like, bro, AD wants to go to LA. Just wait it out and fucking sign him.
Yeah.
Like,
Ingram's nice.
you could have cut Ingram,
He's a
had
bucket.
AD
and Randall, and they traded a bunch.
yeah, like, bro, you would have had a fucking roster. The same thing when Melo like forced his trade
Yeah.
too. Like, bro, wait.
Yeah.
He
Go
wasn't
and
even
then you're
supposed
gonna
to go
win.
to New York. He was supposed to go to LA. There was a trade on the table
Yeah.
for Lamar Odom and Pau Gasol, I think,
Bro.
for Melo and someone else.
Braun and Melo in their prime would have been fucking.
That would have been the
sick.
best. Dude.
Like you thought,
about
Wade and LeBron was like, no.
Melo and Brown would
the
have been
fit between
so
those two was-
fucking nasty. Let me tell you guys about Lady Jane's. Coming to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That's right, no expenses spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
What up, though? Welcome back to World Heavyweights Live, WorldSports.com. I'm your boy Eazy, join my guys, Rax, Chris, Unky Nick. Smash that like button, be a friend, tell a friend, share the stream. Detroit Lions. It's crazy. I don't think we ever waited this long to talk Detroit Lions.
What?
Yeah. It's been a minute. It's been a while. There's a couple things I want to go over. And this one, actually, I'll start with this because it's kind of breaking news. It's not in the prep sheet per se. But the Detroit Lions have re-signed Michael Badgley to a 1-year deal. I think it's one of those Brad Home deals. It's like, you're here. I think you're here until we find someone better. Or whatever, however you may look at it. I don't understand the backlash to this one, man. I really don't.
No, it's ridiculous, the backlash. That's what it is. It's you sign a kicker because you need a kicker on your roster. They'll still probably draft one. I would not be surprised if they drafted one or got somebody. There's going to be a kicking competition in camp for sure. I know that gets Maz's gears turning. I wish Maz was here to hear that. Kicking competition riles Maz up more than anything else. He loves the kickers, but Badgley's not the worst kicker in the NFL. He's not terrible, and you bring him in, you bring some other guys in. Whoever wins it out of camp gets the spot.
That's where I'm at. That's what I think is going to happen. I feel bad for Badgley because I'll admit that he's not great. He's certainly not. I wouldn't be willing to say he's bad. Like, I think he gets like such an unfair rap, especially when it comes to like the NC Conference Championship game where people are like saying Dan Campbell didn't trust him to make the kick. No, that's not it at all. Dan Campbell just likes to hang out with his nuts and go for on 4th downs. It's not because he didn't trust Michael Badgley in that situation. You can't say that shit when you know who Dan Campbell is. Dan Campbell goes for on 4th down when the ball is in Detroit Lions territory. Like that's just what he does. It's not because he didn't have faith in Michael Badgley. Michael Badgley didn't miss a single kick in the Detroit Lions uniform this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
In fact, he made a 54-yarder in a playoff game against the Rams.
That I was fully confident he was going to make that kick. Like when they came out and they brought him out, I was like, oh yeah, that's money.
Game-winning field goal too.
Yeah.
Yes. So if people say that you can't trust him, this is not the case at all. Like, no, you can trust Michael Badgley. You're obviously not asking him to make 60 yarders or anything like that, but like he's not bad by any means. I just don't get the backlash for the Michael Badgley stuff, and I think it comes and stems from like the NFC Conference Championship game. That's not on Michael Badgley. That's a Dan Campbell decision. Dan Campbell's known to make those decisions. Like, can we separate the two? I mean, by the numbers, this guy is more than average.
By the numbers.
It just doesn't make sense to hate on Michael Badgley like this. And like you said, they're going to bring in someone to compete either way.
They probably gave him a $1 million, $2 million contract to bring him in for a year, and it's probably predicated 100% off if he makes the team out of camp.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And like I said, I would not be surprised if they still drafted somebody. I would
The
not be
Detroit
surprised
Lions select
if they signed a kicker from the CFL or something. Like, it's going to be a competition, and if he wins it again, he wins it again. I don't got a problem with Michael Badgley. I like him more than Riley Patterson. Is he Justin Tucker? No, but he's not fucking Roberto Aguayo either. Like, he's solid. He's not great. He's not terrible. He's middle of the road.
A lot of comments over sports chats, and he's no good from 45 plus.
Ken says he wouldn't make kicks outdoors. We only got like 2 outdoor games this year, so, and I think it's literally 2 cold weather outdoor games.
Green Bay,
and it's Green Bay and Chicago. Yeah,
the same people that want to don't want to do it.
Yeah, San Fran doesn't get cold like at all, right?
No.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, it's not the type of situation.
We're at San Fran. Yeah.
But again, I'm not telling you guys he's great by any means. He's just not like. He's not bad. He's not worth throwing a fit over.
The Stanford kid hits piss missiles, says Adam Pike. I would love for them to draft the Stanford kid or the Bama kid. Like, either of those kickers, take them for sure. That would be a great pick in my mind. But you should still have a kicker on your roster before the draft. I don't think this is a bad deal at all.
Yeah, plus elite nickname, Money Badger.
That is a great nickname.
I dig it. Yeah, I got nothing against them bringing back Money Badger, but we need some guy in case you get in that situation that can kick that 55-plus yarder.
Yeah.
He did hit it with some room, too, on the 54. It wasn't
it would have been good for like 56.
Yeah. So I just don't think we're going to see kickers a lot on this team. The way they are built, I do not believe that they will kick a lot of field goals because they have faith in their offense to convert. And if Josh Reynolds could catch the effing ball, it wouldn't have mattered.
Neil talked about it on BDE, and it made a lot of sense of, like, the next thing that's going to be phased out of the NFL, like kind of how the running back got phased out of the NFL. It's going to be the kicker who gets $4 or $5 million a year. Because of analytics, because of going for it, because of the touchdowns meaning more, why would you pay a Matt Prater $4 million a year when you could pay a Graham Glasgow $4 million a year? Like, what's more important to your team's success? So, yes, it's nice to have that guy in your back pocket for sure, but that is going to be something. I liked when he said that. I was like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Like, that could be the next thing to get phased out of the NFL is a big money, big contract kicker, because teams are going to be going for it more and more often, more and more regularly because of analytics and because touchdowns win games.
I don't agree with that one because kickers are still like utilized. Like as much as the game, the Super Bowl was like one on the touchdown, it's still majority like field goals, and they wouldn't have been in those situations without those field goals. And those are two. I mean, Moody's probably like good to mid.
There's talks about Moody getting cut.
Moody's not getting cut. Who's saying that?
There's
some butthurt 49ers fan. That's not a real report of Jake Moody getting cut. I promise you that. But no, I don't think field goal kickers can get phased out. I could see. And
Sports Illustrated. Should the 49ers keep or cut Jake Moody?
Yeah, it's not like he's not getting cut. That's like an article being written.
Clickbait.
That's what I literally just said. There's talks about him getting cut.
That's not like
the article like, being titled "Should they keep or cut Jake Moody?" is talks of him.
Well,
being
excuse
cut.
me, I don't consider that as like a real. Like they're not cutting Jake Moody. That's fucking crazy to me. That's whatever. If you want to consider that talks of him getting cut, let it be talks of him getting cut. But that's not going to happen. If you have an elite kicker, it's truly beneficial to you, especially when you see guys like freaking Justin Tucker. And by the $4 million is nothing to your cap. That's shit.
It's Graham Glasgow.
That's okay, but like,
so
like
last
$4
year
million
for
is
the
not
Lions,
making a break. Like you could clear up $4 million easily.
Last year for the Lions, would you have rather had Matt Prater or Graham Glasgow on that team?
You could clear up $4 million to grab Matt Prater easily.
Yeah, for sure. But
it's not like like whining or complaining over $4 million for a kicker that is, again, beneficial in my mind, beneficial to your team. There's not even an argument. I'm making the $4 million work. We're grabbing two guys, restructuring their deals, more likely the quarterback or a Taylor Decker, a veteran piece like that. Give him some void years or whatever you made to do to clear up that $4 million. That's such an easy fix. Like $4 million is nothing to bitch over. 15, 10, then we can have conversations. But if I don't have a kicker making that much, it's not a conversation for me. A $4 million.
No kicker is going to make that much.
Like that's not even like a rookies are making like more than like the $4 million up until like what the third round.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like four is. If someone's bitching over $4 million paying a kicker who can be clutch at times too, because games are won off field goals, that's stupid to me.
But again, more and more teams are going for it. So I can see that.
That is true.
The kicker not being a priority for some teams because it's like we're going for it anyways. Mm-hmm. Why invest $4 million into Matt Prater when we can get somebody who knocks him down when we put him out there? When we're only going to put him out there if we're inside the 30 anyways. Or if we're only going to put him out there if we are 4th and long. If it's 4th and 1, we're going to go for it every time.
But you put him out there for points at the end of the day. Like I get if it's a team, if you don't have a good kicker, like you definitely want a good kicker for sure. If you don't have if you don't have a good kicker, then you're going to go for it more than not.
Yeah.
Like that 100% makes sense. And I feel that in situations when teams do that. I think punter, if anything, you want to pick out like a position to phase out on 4th downs. I'd be looking at punters, not a guy that's literally putting points on the board for you. Especially again at $4 million, that's literally nothing.
And putting points on the board for you is for sure a good thing. And one touchdown is more points than 2 field goals.
I'm about to see how many points or how much is Tucker making.
Probably the most in the NFL.
Yeah, for sure.
What?
It's either him or Prater. Most of them. I think Tucker's making like $4 or $5 million a year.
Let's see. He's on a 4-year. Yeah, bro.
$200 million contract.
Like he's only making like 6.5 a year. For a guy that's like knocking down 60-yarders, I'm sorry. Like I'm paying that all day. An example, I guess.
There's only one Justin Tucker in the NFL, though.
No, that's very fair.
There's no other kicker in the NFL I'd pay over $6 million for.
What do you think a trade value for the best kicker like a Justin Tucker would be?
Probably like a
second, third
or fourth. Yeah.
I mean, if Moody went third and he was supposed to be the next Justin Tucker, right? Did he go late third, Moody?
Yeah, it was the 49ers. So
it was late third. Yeah. So I mean, I'm thinking around that because they're drafting somebody to be the next Justin Tucker is their expectation with that one.
Yeah, I'm looking for Justin Tucker's the highest bid kicker, average like $6 million a year.
Yeah.
Matt Gay at 5. Like that's like the amount of money like Graham Glasgow. What was Graham Glasgow signed to last year? It's something like really really low, if I'm not mistaken. By the way, Detroit Lions I think are already like a destination organization to be when you have Graham Glasgow deciding to come here. I think that's a little bit based on relationship based too, and also like a CJ DJ. I wonder how many of those guys are coming this year. after going to the NFC Conference Championship.
I know we've brought him up, but to see a Calais Campbell on the other side, if we try to get like an elite D tackle, like we talked about it a little bit yesterday. But if you can get Calais on the low for a year, I'd take that all day long.
Yeah.
No, touchdown 100% is worth more than a field goal.
Yeah.
But field goals still put points on the boards and you can win your games too. We do have to go to break. When we get back,
field goals also can lose you games. Look at the Super Bowl.
Field goals kept the freaking Chiefs in it.
Field goals lost the 49ers the Super Bowl.
The field goals.
Kicking a field.
You could just as easily argue that the field goals kept the Chiefs in it.
Yeah, and you can literally see that they lost because they kicked a field goal.
But they also won because they kicked field goals.
No, they won because they went down and scored a touchdown.
Because there's multiple drives where they didn't end up with a touchdown. On fourth down, they decided to kick a field goal, took 3 points.
Well, what happened when they had the game on the line and had to win, they went down and scored a touchdown to win the game. And the 49ers kicked the field goal, and that ended up losing them the game.
They were never in the fourth down position where they could have kicked the field goal to tie it. They just kept going, and scored a touchdown.
Yeah, because the touchdown won it for them. Because the 49ers
But they were never in a fourth down situation in field goal range to want to even have the question to want to kick the field goal.
Because the 49ers kicked the field goal.
But the Chiefs wouldn't even been in that situation if they kicked the field goal to go to overtime.
You wouldn't trust the Chiefs going for it on fourth down in the red zone? You don't think that would have been a good idea?
No, you would, but I'm just trying to I guess, say the field goal is valueless is just ridiculous.
It's not valueless.
No, the Chiefs literally kicked the field goal to go into overtime.
It's not valueless, but I'm saying the 49ers lost the game because they kicked the field goal.
I don't agree. They lost the game because they didn't stop the Chiefs.
Well, the Chiefs won because of a touchdown. Spenny racist against kickers.
Chiefs went overtime because of a field goal. So.
Well, we'll see. If I got Patrick Mahomes, I'm not worried about kicking field goals.
Yeah. They also have a great kicker, too. You want to talk about
they do.
Chiefs are great kickers.
They do. Harrison Butker's good.
Lady Jane's, Fairway Packing Company?
Fairway Packing Company.
For over 6 years, providing Michigan's finest hotels, restaurants, and casinos with the finest prime beef, dry-aged beef, and Wagyu beef. Visit fairwaypacking.com to get it delivered to your door or stop for grab-and-go steaks in Grosse Pointe with Fairway Packing.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Head on over to woodwardsports.com, click the shop tab, and get you some brand new merch. If you're tired of the same old Detroit sports gear and you want amazing apparel, the ultimate swag, head over to woodwardsports.com, click the shop tab. They got hoodies, hats, tees, everything you need. woodwardsports.com, click the shop tab today.
Welcome back to World Heavyweights Live, WorldSports.com. If you guys haven't already, please make sure to hit the like button. Be a friend, tell a friend, share the stream. I'm Eazy, Spin Mo Rax, Young Chris, Uncle Nicholas.
Let's go. Smash that like.
Spinny, your player spotlight. Kamari Lassiter.
Yes.
Mine's blank. Gotta find someone. I'll get him. I'll get someone I already did some homework on. But break it down for us.
Let me tell you about Kamari Lassiter. This is a guy that's going to be available to the Lions if they decide to go defensive back at 29. This is a guy that's probably going to be there. He's out of Georgia. He's 6'10", 185 pounds. And 6 foot, 185 pounds. He is a very, very fluid athlete. The thing that stands out the most when you watch his film is how good he is running downfield stride for stride with wide receivers. He is a very good athlete. He can run down the field on these vertical routes. It's impressive. He gets his head around very well, and when he doesn't get his head around, he puts his hands up. He gets his hands in there to break up the pass very well. It's impressive to see him mirroring these receivers down the field in one-on-one routes, deep shots. I know that's where the Lions struggled a lot, is these deep routes down the field, and Kamari Lassiter excels at guarding deep shots, excels at guarding routes that attack the downfield passing game. So this is something that I liked when I saw it on film. Also, he is very good at the line of scrimmage. At the line of scrimmage, when he's going face up, in press, getting his hands into a receiver, disrupting their route package, punching them off the line, even only being 185 pounds, he's a physical guy. So he can disrupt the route package. You're not going to get a clean release off of the line against this guy. That is something I like to see as well. And on top of that, in the screen game, getting around blockers, making the tackle, stepping up, making things happen, being physical at the line of scrimmage is something that stands out with him, both as pressing the receivers and attacking screens or running backs out in the flats. I really liked what I saw out of him at the line of scrimmage. I really liked what I saw out of him on deep routes because, like I said, he can do a very good job, even with a smaller frame, of going against big body receivers. Thanks to his athleticism and the way he high points the ball, it's extremely impressive. He can hit, he gets back there, and he makes tackles, which is something big for Aaron Glenn defenses, that he makes tackles at the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage. You can send him on blitzes. He's very instinctual when it comes to whether they're running a screen, what they're doing, getting back there. Like I said, slipping past the receiver, trying to block him, getting back there, making the tackle on the screener are things you'll see littered all over his film. It is an impressive film study. He's not my favorite. Like, I'd still probably take TJ Tampa over him. I'd still take some other guys because he's not this lockdown press guy, but he, like I said, he can get a little handsy. He can get a little over aggressive on the routes when you see him run against him. But the things that stand out are his very capable line of scrimmage abilities, whether it's pressing the receiver or getting back on a screen, and he plays deep routes very, very well, which I think is going to translate well into the NFL.
Yeah, I think some of the knocks on him was like his physicality at the line of scrimmage, but from everything I've heard from who's the coach over there? Kirby, yeah. Everything Kirby was saying about him is like, this kid is like, and this is like what we're looking for this year around, is the Dan Campbell type, the Brad Holmes type, the guys that you want to bring home the mom, but also love ball. That's Kamari Lassiter. Kamari Lassiter, I think, originally recruited as a wide receiver. He grinded very, very hard in the film room to become one of the better cornerbacks on that Georgia defense that is known for being a great defense. Kamari Lassiter, very, very competitive when the ball's in the air. I think he's great in the catch windows. I think the only things that may knock him down is like his physical attributes. I think that the combine's gonna be huge for him to see where he ends up in the draft. I don't know if he's gonna be a first-round guy. I think the reason, again, when we do these player spotlights, we're looking at guys gonna be around the Detroit Lions draft position at 29, and that's if Brad Holmes drafts at 29. But Kamari Lassiter is a guy that I think if they secured at pick 29, I would be happy with, to be honest with you. I think he's very competitive, and I think he fits that mold of a Dan Campbell guy. We won't look back, again, listen to things that Kirby Smart, his head coach, says. He's constantly in the film room because he wants to be the best. I think the only things that limit him, again, is being physical at the line of scrimmage and this maybe athletic attributes. It's a tough one to say there for a minute. But Kamari Lassiter, I'll be totally fine with that one. Did you do your homework on that guy, Nick?
I mean, I just got from what I got from Spencer right there. I think the thing that stands out to me, you look at who they brought in, and a guy like Brian Branch, he produced for one of like the best coaches in Nick Saban before we brought him in, and he succeeded in this defense. So Kamari Lassiter, he's coming from a very, very good defense who has won national championships. And I know he probably didn't play as much for that sophomore team, but I see he got snaps as a sophomore, so that means he was on the defense playing for an NCAA champion. I like that kind of guy. You're bringing in a winner, and this team is expected to win big games next year, so he's already, obviously confident, and I think I would like it at 29.
Yeah, honestly, everything from outside of like the tape that you hear about the kid, he sounds like a Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes guy. I saw a comment in the Woodward Sports chat, I believe it was from Aaron, says, please tell me that earn. Please tell me that Sutton was hurt towards the end of the season.
He was.
He couldn't. Yes. I believe it was turf toe. I don't know if they officially came out with what it was, but he had a foot injury. I think since the Minnesota game.
Yeah.
The first time we played Minnesota, he's dealing with that foot injury. And obviously, I think you could tell he had a way different first half of the season versus that back half. On top of the fact, too, Justin Jefferson, I don't care who the quarterback is, one of the toughest guys to cover in the league. But I'm going to go with the guy.
Not a lot of cornerbacks have good days against Justin Jefferson.
Exactly. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to go in your favor. One of the guys seeing mock draft to the Detroit Lions recently was Jordan Morgan, offensive tackle from Arizona. He's 6'5", 312. It's currently tackle. I think it's one of those things where you're looking to maybe, again, pre-game for the future when it comes to Taylor Decker and what his decision is going to finally be, or you can slide him inside for the meantime. One of the weaknesses, though, on him is the inside shoulder. That is where you see him get beat. But in terms of like pass rush, I'm sorry, not pass rush, but pass protection, it's there. Anytime he's faced with a bull rush, he's able to sink down his weight, stop guys from pile driving him into the ground, and he's able to do it with the speed rushes too. He's quick with his hand placement. He has really, really good hand placement. I think the run game is where you get a little bit of concern, and that has to deal with how complex our run scheme is. Whether it's a wide gap scheme, whether it's the polling and everything that goes along with that. That's where you get a little bit nervous about taking a tackle like Jordan Morgan and force him to play that guard spot until Taylor Decker makes his final decision. But for me, I'd still be down with it.
Yeah.
6'5", 312. It's going to be a position that you have to, I guess, address at some point regardless of the tackle spot. I'm not in love with it, though. To be honest, I don't think anyone's going to be too in love with anybody at 29 outside of, like, guys that will fall or drop to us.
Interior offensive line, I think, is guys you can fall in love with at 29. I talked about it. That's the best talent pool. When you're looking at 29, the best talent pool is going to be interior offensive linemen.
Yep.
There's going to be this is a pretty good draft for those guys. So there's going to be some good guys available for you there if that's the route you decide to take.
Turf toe. So Chef Talks NFL. I've been saying this every time we talk about Cam Sutton. Absolutely. Ask Coach Prime about turf toe. Is that why he had his toe amputated?
I don't know.
That'd be fucking wild. I need that confirmed. But Sutton is not number one. If they put him back at number one, we're going to have a bad season that end. And he wasn't supposed to be the number one. He played, that's from Detroit Grit. He was put in the number one situation because the guy who was supposed to be number one tore his ACL on the second snap of his first game back.
Yeah.
From a torn ACL.
From a torn ACL. I hope we get him back, though. I'm talking about Emmanuel Mosley, just because it's going to be cheap.
Yeah. Spenny's talking about some of those top guys being interior offensive linemen. That's why I think it's so imperative for this team to spend on the defense if that's the route that they're going to go. Because we've talked about needing some top players to pair with a guy like Hutch, a guy like Branch. We're expecting Jack Campbell to make a huge step. Guys in the back end like Kirby and Iffy. You need to feed that defensive line if we are going to use a high draft pick on interior offensive line.
Yeah. You look at what we see in free agency. Like I said, that defensive tackle free agent list is looking pretty nice.
Yeah.
The edge free agent list is looking pretty nice. We talked about the corners that you could supplement, but with one of those first, like
What?
I don't know, man. I want TJ Tampa really bad.
I want TJ Tampa, too.
I want TJ Tampa really bad.
I'm waiting for somebody to talk me out of him.
Yeah. You're not going to find that this way, brother.
Yeah, that's how much I like him. Is there something I'm missing? Like why isn't he regarded as a higher draft pick amongst like NFL draft boards? Like I know our guy. Actually, I'm gonna talk to Trevor Sikkema. We'll try to get him on because I know he's a big TJ Tampa guy, and that's what they want over there in Tampa as well. Mm-hmm. And they have an earlier first round pick than us. And he's a guy that does these mock drafts. I mean, he is a lead draft analyst for PFF. So if that guy likes TJ Tampa, I'm no longer feeling bad about liking TJ Tampa. Mm-hmm. And I liked him before then too. Again, I'm big on but I'm big on size when it comes to that cornerback position. Yeah. And more than anything, like the arm length. And TJ Tampa possesses that. He's 6'2", 200 pounds, long arms. I think when he tested the combine, he's for sure going to fly up into first round mocks, in my opinion. But we shall see. We're going to find out. But not before you tell us about Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness, the home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. No matter where you're at, there's a Planet Fitness close by, more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. You can get a full body workout in just 30 minutes and 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all this for just $10 a month, no commitment. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
What up, though? Welcome back to World Heavyweights Live on WoodwardSports.com. I'm Eazy, Spin more Rax, yo, Chris, Uncle Nick. And as they say, be careful what you wish for. I've been wishing for somebody to talk me out TJ Tampa.
You just might get it all.
You just might get it.
Just might get it all.
We have NFL draft scout Russell Brown joining the show. Russ, I appreciate you. I know I hit you up last minute today. Let's hear it, man. I've been in love with TJ Tampa. Is there where are you grading this guy? Should I fall out of love with him, or is he a solid pick at 29 for the Detroit Lions?
That's a punch your car pick right there. That's what that is.
No.
Look, I'm not as high on TJ Tampa as other people. I just call it what it is. I think the fluidity is great. I think he's one of those types of guys that he can change direction. He's going to be able to run with receivers. I think he's going to test well. That's all great, but I have a problem with what he does in the run game. I need corners that can tackle on the perimeter, and I don't think he does it consistently enough. Now, maybe in the open field against a receiver or something like that, maybe he's lighting somebody up, or a tight end, and he's, they're focused on the ball and he's coming downhill that way. But I've seen him far too often just not engage in tackling, not interested in tackling. I don't know why that is. Maybe that's just some of the games that I've seen. I've only seen 2 games, and that's kind of my baseline, right? You guys know how it operates for me. You got to pass the test through 2 games for me to continue to watch him. So I like the size. I think he's going to do fine next week when it comes to testing, but I think the physicality part might draw some teams and go, especially Dan Campbell and the Lions. I don't know if he necessarily fits what we're looking for. If I want physical run defenders, guys that can do stuff on the perimeter, I think Kamari Laster makes a lot of sense out of Georgia in that regard. But I guess it depends on what the Lions are looking for. Are they looking for a guy that can come up and tackle, or are they looking for a guy that can cover? Are they looking for a guy that can do both?
So you're comfortable with him in coverage skills, just the run game that turns you off from TJ Tampa?
Yeah, that's kind of my lasting imprint of him, is like he didn't seem engaged in tackling, kind of the same way I felt about Kalen King out of Penn State. I like the fluidity within his game, but he's a little bit smaller, not as much, bulk to his frame, and he just was not a great tackler on tape. I mean, he missed, it felt like, every single time a running back got to the next level, and I felt like that was the same thing that I was watching with TJ Tampa. I left off on the Texas game. I'll see what else I can get to in the coming weeks to see if there's anything else. I mean, people have said he's a great tackler. That's told me that. And I'm like, well, what game are you watching? Because I got to see this. I haven't seen it yet. But I think at 29, it's a little rich. If they trade it down and then took him, I would be okay with that in that regard.
Yeah, I'm still debating on what I want to do with that first pick, whether it's interior offensive line, quarterback, whoever we're looking at there. But a guy that I fell in love with that could possibly be outside of that first pick, maybe in the second round, is Cooper Bebe. Like, what's your breakdown on him? I think he'd fit the Lions' run scheme very well with his ability to move around the offensive line. They shuffle him in at tackle, at guard, wherever they want him to go. And I think he's a mauler on top of amazing pass blocking numbers.
Yeah, I really am a big fan of him. Fun fact, he actually was following me up until like a couple months ago. I don't know I don't know what happened, but he was supposed to be somebody he was supposed to be somebody I interviewed, and I don't know what happened. But I really like the player. He's only given up 2 sacks in the last 3 seasons. One of those guys that has shown he can play left tackle, can play right tackle, primarily going to be a guard in the NFL. I love his skill set, very agile, somebody that's got, plenty of power within his game at 6'4", 330. And I think he's going to end up being somewhere on that second day of the draft. Could he be a second-round pick? It's very possible. But I love guys that can get out in space, and he's one of those players. He operates very efficiently, again, agile, lateral quickness. So I think he's got an intriguing skill set. And for Detroit, offensive line is a sneaky need here, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. Taylor Decker is going to be 31, 32. He's not healthy. He's getting banged up more and more. We already know about Ragnow. We don't know if Jonathan Jackson or Graham Glasgow are going to be back. Maybe one, not the other. There's going to be a need at guard, I think, and I'd be totally fine with this pick somewhere on the second day of the draft. They've got 3 day 2 picks. Could they try to move up a little bit and grab a guy like this that could be a plug and play starter at left guard? I think it's very possible. So I would be fine with the pick.
And then Detroit Lions parted ways with Tracy Walker officially yesterday. And now only 2 safeties in the roster. Anybody in this draft you expecting to, approach that in free agency or the draft? I mean, I haven't even began looking at safeties at all in this draft. I didn't think that was something we'd be looking for. But now with only 2 guys in the roster, something's got to be addressed. Is anybody good enough in the draft for them to grab there, or you think they'll go through free agency?
I think I do wonder, do they bring back Gardner Johnson, right? I mean, I think maybe a 1 or 2 year deal there. I don't know if he's done enough to get a 4 or 5 year contract from us. Again, I don't know what he's looking for. I mean, maybe he fit, from a culture fit, does he make sense? Possibly. Again, I'm not in the locker room. I love the player. I just don't know necessarily what the terms will be as far as a contract. So being that he was injured, I think maybe another 1 or 2 year prove it deal is probably on the cards for him. But at the same time, I think getting a safety was going to be a part of the plan. When they were making Tracy Walker healthy scratches and not using him down the stretch, I think that was really the writing on the wall for him. So if they ended up going in the draft and trying to get one, I mean, Cameron Kitchens or Tyler Nubin out of Minnesota, Kitchens is out of Miami. I think either one would make a lot of sense, but how comfortable are they? We already know what we got in Kirby, right? He's a dog, but what are we getting out of Ifeatu Melifonwu? Is he going to be a guy that's making that permanent move to safety? Because there were times that he was playing in the slot primarily as a nickel corner. So I think, are they going to spend the early draft capital on Nubin or Kitchens, or are they going to settle for like a Jaden Hicks who could be there at the 3rd round pick? And he's a 6'3", 200-pound safety that can play single high looks. He can play in a split safety role. He's got the range to do that. I like what he does in run support. I would be very intrigued by him. I think there's kind of that Pac-12 connection with Brad Holmes and those West Coast ties. He comes out of the Pac-12. So I'd be intrigued if he'd be a player that they'd be interested in taking. I think he's going to test really well. And again, a rangy defender that can tackle. So I would circle Jaden Hicks outside of Tyler Nubin and Cam Kitchens. And of course, do they bring back Gardner Johnson?
And speaking of some of the roster needs when you look at free agency, and obviously Donovan Peoples-Jones and Josh Reynolds are both free agents as well, so that pops up a potential need for a wide receiver. I do think they're going to bring back Josh Reynolds, and obviously they have Antoine Green, but I live by the philosophy that you should draft a receiver every year in the NFL draft, like if it's a late guy, wherever, but it's never bad to have these young kind of guys coming in because you could get a Cooper Kupp, a Puka Nacua, one of these guys in the late rounds. Who do you see as a late-round target potentially for the Lions at wide receiver?
Jermaine Burton out of Alabama has really caught my eye in the last day or so. I watched his game against Texas A&M, and the change of direction ability from him is certainly something. His speed, he picks up as he goes through his route, so he might not necessarily be a guy that starts incredibly fast, but he ends fast, and then he's fluid. And I think at 6 foot, 200 pounds, he had 8 touchdowns. He averaged almost 20 yards per reception, or 21 yards per reception this year. I think he'd be a great fit for a potential Josh Reynolds replacement. I mean, when you think of like length and overall size, height and weight, I think it kind of falls into that type of category long. I think he'd be a good fit alongside J-Mo. He can play as an X receiver. He can play it really anywhere. He's aligned anywhere. So he's really caught my eye. I'd be intrigued with Jalen McMillan. I think he's, a little bit undersized at 190 pounds, but he's 6'1", he's lanky. He can run after the catch, and he was one of those guys that lived in the shadows of Jalen Polk and Roma Dunze out there in Washington. So I would be very intrigued with either one of those guys. And then outside of that, I mean, where does Roman Wilson go out of Michigan? I just think pairing him with St. Brown, the way he runs his routes, it would be so fun, and you could run dagger concepts all day long, corner routes, high-low concepts with him and St. Brown, and JMO's got the speed to take it off the top. So I'm curious where Roman Wilson ends up going. Is he a early day 2 pick? Is he an early 3rd round pick? Where does he go in this draft? But at 6 foot, 5'10", 190 pounds, he fits the prototypical slot receiver. But does Detroit find a need for him elsewhere as far as being an X and being able to versatile inside-outside stuff?
How about who is the best? Like, who's the number 1 defender in this class? I've seen it kind of all over the place between Latu and who's the other guy? James Verse. Who's the number 1 defender in your opinion in this draft class amongst, like, I guess all positions we have ranked?
Yeah, for me it's Terry and Arnold out of Alabama. It's a close second between him and his teammate Dallas Turner, but Arnold is just so physical in the run game. His technique's a little wild. He doesn't always carry his lower body with him, but 5 interceptions, 12 pass deflections. He was the best defender on that Alabama defense, I think, this past year. And I love the fluidity within his game. He can play inside, outside, and he closes so well. And again, his ability in the run game really speaks for itself. So it's close between him and Dallas Turner. I think with Dallas Turner, the only downside to him is it just felt like at times the motor was off. I didn't feel like he always got after it, but he did get 10 sacks this year. He's explosive. I think, the length, he's got long arms, 6'4", 250. I think there's enough intrigue there that you could make a case that he could be the first defender off the board. But either one of those guys make the most sense for me as the top 2 defenders in the draft.
Hey, Russ, Nick in the sound booth here. Talking about defenders and talking about a guy that disrupts things, I've looked at Newton out of Illinois, the All-American in 2023 Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, as a guy I really like to help guys like Aiden Hutchinson and guys like Aleem McNeil for this defense. Do you see a guy like that dropping to 29, or do you think you'd have to go up and get him in the draft? And what are your just thoughts on him in general?
Yeah, there's a chance that he ends up falling to the Lions a little bit just because he won't be participating in the combine next week. He's got a lower body injury that kind of just continued to carry on throughout part of the season, and it really bothered him the last month of the season. But I would be very intrigued with Johnny Newton. I think he's the best defensive tackle in the draft. Nothing against Byron Murphy, but I think Newton was just a little bit more consistent. He was on the field all the time for Illinois, and he has just massive hits on tape all of the time. He's so quick with his hands. I think he's versatile enough to play anywhere along the defensive line. He's probably best suited as a zero shade, as a 2-eye. You mentioned freeing up Aleem McNeil and Aiden Hutchinson. I think he's going to do that because he's going to draw at least, 1 or 2 blockers to him every single time. And another player that's going to do that as well is Tavondre Sweat. I know you guys are big fans of him, right? I mean, he's a heavyweight. We're talking about a guy that was 362 pounds this year, but he's experienced, man. He's played a lot of football in his career, 62 career games, 18 career starts. The guy might be a little bit kind of maxed out as far as obviously size, height, weight, speed, and stuff like that. And I don't know if he gets any better as a football player, but the football player that we see is good enough. I mean, his lateral movement is impressive for his size. He can defeat reach blocks with ease. He's got a really good push-pull move. Former 2-sport athlete in high school. He averaged 14.3 points per game in basketball with 8.9 rebounds and 2.5 blocks a game. So he's just a playmaker, man. And I loved his skill set, and I think putting him here in Detroit would be a home run because it would free up McNeil and Hutchinson almost every single time because you've got to put 2 guys on Sweat.
Yes, that's what I want. I guess my question on that one being is I don't know if he'd be like a Dan Campbell or Brad Holmes guy with the weight issues. And I don't even know if the weight issue is a thing because he plays phenomenal with it. Obviously, he didn't weigh in at the Senior Bowl, but he dominated practices.
Tubby.
I do want to ask a guy that's been brought up on my radar as like a later round pick because we have 2 third-round picks. Austin Booker. Have you been able to dive in a little bit of his film, and what's your takeaways from him?
We both spotlighted him yesterday.
Yeah, he was a player that I talked about as kind of a mystery man for fantasy pros prior to the Senior Bowl because he was a guy that just hasn't played a lot of football, but there's so much intrigue with him. Listed at 6'6", 245 pounds. He did not play in 2021, only played 6 games in 2022. He had an undisclosed injury, so we don't necessarily know what that was. So he's going to have to check a lot of boxes as far as medicals. But, I mean, he was productive this past season. He earned a 82.5 PFF grade. Take that for what it's worth. But 56 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, 8 sacks. I think he's got to get a little bit stronger. I think he gets displaced in the run game a little bit too frequently for my liking. But I think as far as a pass rusher goes, situationally, and here in Detroit, with what we have with Pascal and Houston and obviously Hutchinson, I think Booker would be a fine fit here. Doesn't necessarily fit the prototypical size that they're looking for with defensive ends. I think they're looking for more of those like 6'4", 265-pound guys that can control themselves in the gap and have that gap control in the run game. But I think Booker, from a pass rush standpoint, he would be a home run pick here for Detroit.
Darius Robinson, hometown kid. I see it in the run game. I see it for like a multiple, versatility there, as Smitty likes to say.
Versatility.
But I just didn't really fall in love with him as like a true pass rusher. Where you at on him?
I love him. I mean, he's a hometown kid, went to my high school, to my park or to the campus that I went to basically for high school. But love the player. I really do. I wonder what's his natural fit in the NFL. Because I've kind of been through this before with like Charles Omenu, who's a fine player, but very similar size, 6'5", 295 pounds. Played in a terrible scheme. I mean, playing in a 3-3-5 stack defense does not do wonders for a player's draft stock. But to see the production that he had and to see him turn speed to power, if he can get a consistent pass rush plan and some type of counter into his repertoire, I think he can really be a player at the next level. I know he interviewed very well, and I was able to talk with his family at the Senior Bowl and just talking with him a little bit. I know teams are very high on him, so he could go much sooner than the 29th overall pick. We'll see obviously what happens, but if he's there, I'm fine with it. I think they would have to take him at pick 29. I don't think he's going to last very long on to day 2 if he ended up becoming available, because I just know teams are high on him. But he'd be a great fit because he can play a 4-eye, he can play a 5, he can bump inside. He's very good with gap control, so I think he'd make sense. Schematically, and if Detroit doesn't address the defensive end position, if they feel like that's a need, Robinson would make sense there.
Yeah, and before we let you go, Russ, I know this isn't draft, but a guy like DJ Reader, when I look at the defensive tackles in free agency, there is a lot of them. Obviously, the big ones at the top with Chris Jones and Justin Matabuke, but then you have guys like Christian Wilkins and Leonard Williams and DJ Reader. I think DJ Reader would be a good fit in between Hutch and Aleem, and you could get him for a little cheaper of a deal coming off of that injury. How do you think he would fit on that Lions defensive line if he is a target for them?
I think he'd be a great fit. I mean, you look at a guy that, he's coming off a pretty big deal, but like you mentioned, he's probably going to be a little bit cheaper, I would agree, just because he's coming off of an injury. Not as old of a prospect as some other defensive tackles that you listed or other defensive players that are going to be available in free agency, but I would be fine with either DJ Reader or Jonathan Grenard out of Houston as well. I think either one that can play off the edge or on the interior, either one of those guys would make a lot of sense for us, just simply because we wouldn't have to use the draft capital to kind of invest on the defensive line like we've been doing so much. You can pay a little bit. Maybe you get them in here on a Cam Sutton deal, a 2 or 3 year deal, at a reasonable price of $10, $11, $12 million a season, which is a lot, but it's kind of the going rate. So I would be fine with either one of those guys. I would be fine with Leonard Williams. I don't think he's a great locker room fit, but I would be fine with a player like that too, just a veteran that can come in and contribute and maybe earn his stripes a little bit here in Detroit.
Just give me someone who eats blocks, man. Yes. That's all we're missing, really.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Get us a cover corner in that.
All right. How did you see the Kendall Fuller news? How'd you feel about that one? Or rumors, I should say.
No, I did not see it.
He's rumored to be a guy the Detroit Lions are pursuing.
Kendall Fuller out of the Commanders?
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I'm fine with it. I think it's, again, kind of similar size, height, and weight as a Cam Sutton, and maybe a guy that more so needs a change of scenery. I mean, he's been in Washington for a little bit of time here, but No, I would be fine with that. I think, you add talent in the secondary, you can see what happens. I mean, Kendall Vildor, for example, he did the best he could. He's not the most talented defensive back, but we knew there was limitations within his game. Had he not had a bad bounce off his helmet, the guy would have been a superhero here in Detroit because he probably would have picked that off. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's just a bad bounce and a guy that had limitations. You bring in a guy with a little bit more talent, I think Fuller would make a lot of sense. Just depends on what we give up on him. What are we giving up to get him?
Yeah. Russ, man, where's the best place people can go to support you and everything you got going on as you're busy for draft?
Yeah, find me on Twitter or X, whatever it's called these days, at Russ NFL Draft. Tons of film dropping every day, just breaking down players, scouting reports, player rankings. All that stuff is kind of in the works and being done. So just drop me a follow and kind of stay tuned to see what's happening.
Russ, love and appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Shout out.
Thanks, Russ.
Yep, I appreciate it, fellas.
Russ is the man.
Russ is the man. Before we go, let me tell you about Big Boy. Wintertime in Detroit is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Try the veal parmesan or the new Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl. How about breakfast? The stuffed potato pancakes are back. The classic lumberjack or Santa Fe Garden. Also, the new apple pie hotcakes that are too good to miss. Top it all off with a gingerbread shake for dessert. Stop by your local Big Boy today for all of that and more.
Whether it's your home, your auto, Mark's got you covered. That's Mark with Swiss at SwissINS.com is the email. It's Mark at SwissINS.com. Make sure he's getting his money's worth. Send him your mock drafts, all right? That's Mark at SwissINS.com. As for the heavies, we out.
Let's go Red Wings.
Let's
Big
go.
game tonight. Got to get at least a point. Need a point here.
Ivy 25.
It's tough. Ivy 25 points. Shout out D-Mac again. Darren McCarty Heritage Night. Make sure you go down there and support my GOAT. Let's go Red Wings. Let's go Pistons. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Like, share, stream, all that good stuff. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.